Welcome, everyone, to the Javier Javier After Party. And so far, we have in here with us, of course, the guest of honor today, Mr. Javier Javier. My producer, Mikey Famine, is also here. Down below me is Randolf Richardson. We also have Red Venture, who's in here. It's nice to have you in, brother. And Ollieman, all the way from the other side of Canada. So we got both sides of Canada repping here. And he's twisting up a green smokable. What do they call that? Medicinal herbology or something. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. But anyway.
Doobie.
Doobie.
A whole lot of doobies.
Oh yeah. He's the man for that. That's for sure. I'm low on them right now, but I had a quick little puff, so
It should be good for a while.
Should be good. I'm totally all right. Anyway. So welcome everyone. If there's anyone out there in the chat that would like to jump in here and join us, just let me know or let Mikey know. Where did Mikey go? He's gone. He just disappeared. He got abducted by aliens, didn't he?
Not a first person. He dips out.
Damn, he's rolling pure.
Hey, look, he already put that thing through the grinder.
Nah, he uses filters and shit, which that's okay, I guess. My doobies I roll are all cowboy style. No filters. So, yeah, I got one of those too. Big ass grinders.
Yeah, I got one too.
The only thing I like, although I like to use the coffee grinders better, you just go tap, 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 and it's done. It's ground.
Put it through a food processor.
Hi, Amanda. My hair says hi. See, it's waving.
Yeah, I think Mikey wanted to go to the strip club.
Maybe that's what it is.
He was trying to see if I had the hookup or something.
I've heard legendary tales of the Georgia brand.
The Magic City.
I had to confirm.
Let me see here. All right. So I guess I don't need to send you one, Randolph, because you're here. Actually, you okay? You are back. Okay.
Mikey took care of it.
All right. Yes.
Mikey took care of business.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about what my favorite thing is on these bookshelves.
Oh yeah, we were trying to guess.
Yeah.
The blinking lights behind you.
It's close to the number one spot. It's definitely close. I think y'all ready for the reveal?
Yeah.
I actually have the Godfather series up there, and that is actually the most sacred thing that I have on this bookshelf.
Wow. Nice.
That's a fantastic set of movies. I really like that movie. I like the second one the most out of the three.
Really? I'm a fan of the first one. But
the first one's very good too.
Yeah, I think that the Godfather is just it's something you just keep learning lessons from. The more you read, the more you watch them, it's filled with so many life lessons. And I think that if you haven't seen The Godfather or read any of the books, I definitely recommend that you do so.
Well, if it makes you feel good, I have people have been nicknaming me the Godfather of Atheism. So now you can say you've met a Godfather.
There we go. Nice to meet you, sir.
Just call me Randolph, though. That's fine. Everybody else. Cheers. It's nice to meet you too.
I'm somebody's godparent. I don't remember who that.
I am a godfather, actually. To my friend Chris's daughter. I'm her godfather.
Well, I hope you will not refuse me a request on the day of your daughter's wedding.
The day of my daughter's wedding.
Somebody said, let's make Javier a liberal.
It would literally take me 20 minutes, but this isn't the arena.
I think you already carry some liberalistic type values, anyways.
Oh, don't let him hear that, because he's convinced that he's a conservative, even though he's really a liberal.
I think so many people have come before who try to turn me into a liberal. What's his name? Aaron Foster tried to turn me into a liberal. Bobby Fino, the Atlanta, not the Texas running back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, y'all can try. We'll see how that goes. But
that'll be on my show when I have you all surrounded. Everyone's in the middle or to the middle right or middle left on my other show. So I'm a revolutionary. I'm all about either burn it down or I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm actually a libertarian conservative to be
Yeah,
exact.
of course you are.
Yeah. Good luck. we shall see how this turns out, and we will report the results back on.
I'll put in the clips of him crying and sniveling to me. He knew I was right all along.
Sound like a Spider-Man fan.
I just go until I just launch this like 35-second villain monologue about how I knew I would get him, and then you slip through the cracks.
Anybody got any questions? Yeah, not every day you get to talk to an atheist conservative, so let's.
The
way I see it is, atheism is just atheism. You've got people with all kinds of different political alignments that are incidental to being an atheist.
But let's deal with this though. It is a true fact that most atheists fall on the left side of the political spectrum.
That's been my experience too, but I know others who are on the right. I know people who are pro-Trump, pro-Republican, who are also atheists. So that's a strong example.
Yeah. Why would you think that most atheists, for example, most Christian fundamentalists are conservative? What is it about those actual positions, I guess? Because I don't really see atheism as a position. I think it's a lack of a belief. A lot of people
agree with you. I fully agree. That's all it is. A lack of belief in deities. Thank you.
Yeah. A lot of people try to put on atheists that they believe there is no God. And I don't think it's a positive belief. It's more of just a lack of. And I wrestle with Christians all the time on my show about this whole fundamental definition of atheism.
It is an attempt to put a burden of proof on atheists, and I find it seems to me that it comes very often from a position of insecurity. They're trying to eliminate that insecurity by making sure all their adversaries also carry a burden of proof just like they do. It's a different burden, but the reality is not everything carries burdens. There's people who don't believe in the Marklar on planet Marklar. They're not taking position that the Marklar don't exist. They're just not believing in them. And I'm judging by your smile, I'm guessing you caught the South Park reference.
I think.
So, you guys were talking about Spider-Man earlier. I just wanted to see the background on my phone there.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
That's a kicking background. So, but I do encounter that mostly with theists as well, who are doing that. Now, I will say this: people who do take a position, an anti-theistic position, that there are no deities, as a consequence of that, they also don't believe in deities, so they still fit into the classification of being an atheist. So when you say it's not a position, I agree with you. I call it a classification because that's what it is.
Yeah, I think what it is a lot of these people are misled by these Christian apologists or the apologists in general, the Muslims and so forth, because they try to spin this tale and they try to make it seem like there's a burden of proof on atheists. And a lot of times you see this in the debates where they try to, well, how do you prove there's no God? You don't prove a negative, but a lot of times they keep bringing that up and they keep repeating it. Yeah. And these other people, they pick up on it and think it's a valid argument. And then we're at the end of the day, atheists looking at them like, do we really have to go through this whole process of explaining to you what a lack of something is? You don't believe in Zeus. Do I have to?
I think some of it sometimes comes from the Christian side. There's a part in the Bible that says either you're with God or you're against him, which is obviously a black and white fallacy. So I suspect that for some, they take this and they apply to other parts of their thought processes, and they have a lot of trouble seeing gray areas or a null hypothesis and things like that because of that.
Yeah. It's kind of silly. Oh, go ahead, Red. I noticed you were trying to say something earlier.
Oh, well, I'm trying not to have this devolve into the arguments that we've had in the past.
I know.
Just a couple of things saying here. That's like, you can prove a negative. People saying you don't prove a negative can't prove a negative are wrong. You couldn't actually hold that position because you're claiming a negative with that statement. So it's self-refuting there. But yes, you can prove a negative.
Yep, I agree.
And then to say that Christians lack a belief in Zeus or whatever, they don't. They believe Zeus doesn't exist, right? They're monotheists, right? That's not something to say about them, right? So they're taking that Zeus doesn't exist thing. And then like the atheist position kind of stuff, I mean, long developed out of being without a god. So like I don't like the people that try to use the goofy etymological argument for it. And that's about all I'm going to say. I mean, it's not how we handle words. It's not how they're developed or how they're used over time, right? Like,
words evolve.
Well, we're not talking
the most.
We didn't mention etymology here, but your point about Christians being monotheistic, and so it's therefore presuming that they believe Zeus doesn't exist. I think that would be true for Christians who are aware of the concept of Zeus. For the ones who aren't aware of the concept of Zeus, I think that would be only implicitly true, not explicitly true.
It doesn't even have to be that. I've met Christians who actually believe there are other gods. Even in the Bible, it says God sits among the congregation.
Yeah,
he
believe
judges
no
among
other
the
gods
gods
before me, right?
Yeah, there are Christians who accept that there are other deities that God sits upon and judges. So it's not necessarily that. It just depends on the individual and who you're talking to, on whether or not they would fall into that category. But
I would say those that would accept like Zeus existing are going to be accepted in the sense that they're demons and not actually gods, right? In that belief, you're not going to find somebody that's going to a Christian that's going to,
or at least a false god.
Depends on the Christian.
Yeah, I wouldn't even consider Christians to be a monotheistic religion.
The Trinity.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
It's
they
Catholicism.
have the Trinity, and they say it's God but one. And anybody
That's Catholicism,
who knows basic origami.
well, no, that's more than just Catholicism, right?
Well, it started there.
Protestant. I mean, unless you're a Unitarian, a self-described Unitarian, you're not.
I'm not a
form of the Trinitarian.
I'm not a Unitarian. I got them antibiotics. The doctor said it would hook that right up. Sex jokes. Yeah.
Now, if y'all want to really get into something interesting, would you all consider yourselves to be atheists? Like, do you deny that there is no possibility that there could be any God? Theism and deism is a totally two different categories.
Oh yeah, we're aware of that, and I don't believe that there's a necessity for either.
Yeah.
Does something not being a necessity negates the fact that it could be a potential?
I'll say it could. There's a possibility, but if you're talking about the biblical deity, I don't think that deity exists at all. Period.
I'm with Neil on this.
I don't think any of the gods of current religions exist.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, which is why atheism is the perfect word for this. But I would argue that I could never claim that there is no God at all, because I just could not make that claim.
I mean, I can. It's not hard.
Well,
I could claim that too.
I just have to justify my belief to hold that position rationally, and it's not hard to do at all. So
I'm with Red on this.
And I'm gonna say this. I don't want to get into big arguments either, but I think a lot of people hang on to that lack of belief thing because they feel they can't justify no gods existing. Right.
That's right.
I'm not hanging on to it. It's just who I am, and I would say that the reason I can't take the
you grew up with no religious belief at all, though, Randolph. You grew up in an atheist household.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
my mom's Gnostic, but she didn't talk about this at all with us when we were growing up. So effectively yes. The thing is, if I'm to look at the anti-theistic position that there are no deities, there are no goddesses and no gods, I can't support that because I don't have the tools necessary to rule them out of every part of the cosmos, let alone the universe.
Yeah.
So I can't say for certain, right? So that's where, and I look at that literally for myself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying other people need to do that. I'm just saying for myself, that's why I can't take that position.
Well, hold on. Do you hold that science holds in every part of the universe?
I don't.
Or cosmos.
I don't know.
Because cosmos goes beyond our universe.
Yeah, we don't know. We just don't know. Yeah. And I'm not arrogant enough to make a claim about what's beyond our purview.
Right. You cannot say we don't know, because there have been signs, we'll say, or at least indications that there's more than one universe based on things that have happened in the what do you call it, the CMB, cosmic microwave background.
I'd be interested in reading about
Well, they're
that.
called brains. Like they feel that there's areas that other universes have bounced off of ours in certain areas.
So
it's a hypothesis, anyways.
Yeah.
So, but,
Okay.
Go ahead.
so, but
Ray.
all that stuff, all our like even our standard model, if you accept any of that as true, you're accepting that science holds throughout our universe and the multiverse, like the scientific method, not necessarily all the particular laws of physics, right?
Well,
Sorry, are you saying the multiverse is supported scientifically?
There's evidence for it, but we'll leave that out there. But what I'm saying is, throughout anything there, right now, all the things that we say about like the universe, where things are, and all that other stuff, relies on us believing that the foundations of science are true, right? And that's a belief, right? So it's got to apply to everybody.
I don't accept anything as truth. I don't even expect scientific truths to be true. All I can say is it seems to be the most reliable information that we have.
Science,
but to do science, you accept the axioms of science as true, right? You accept that we can use induction, right, as true, and we
accept that science gives us
no
the
reason
best
not to.
Yeah, science gives us the best that we got, but I don't believe it's objectively true. We would have to get into the conversation of how we know what we know. And if you're living in the simulation right now, you could never prove that all the information that you're getting is just not data being fed to you. And this brings me into, I'm a nihilist at heart, and I'm also I don't really believe that we can trust knowledge. We can only do what is most effective in the world that we seem to inhabit.
Yeah, I embrace doubt as an ally.
We have to do.
Yeah, I embrace doubt as an ally as well.
I mean, this is the reality that we.
But you have no problems.
We do know. We have to act like it is the reality that we're living in. So.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the best that we've got to work with. Yes.
But you don't doubt science, even though you take positions unjustifiably, right? To hold anything in the scientific endeavor. Yes, you do, because
it's built into science to doubt science. The whole scientific process is to try to prove other people wrong. So,
so the core of science, right? So this is the problem of induction, right? We can't justify induction without using induction. This is Hume's razor and stuff like that, right? Something we've known forever, and that's why we don't prove things in science when we're developing epistemology. But what we do we take axiomatically, as in without justification, that induction works, and that things are generally going to be the same as the past, right? Things are going to move over there. We can make all these things, and that's where we derive our scientific knowledge from, is based on those axioms. So what I'm saying is, so if you say, well, I can't tell if those axioms hold throughout all the universe, like any description that we give of the universe through science holds those axioms to be true, right? So you hold them to be true throughout the cosmos, the universe, all that other stuff, that these things work this way, then we can do those things, right? Those are beliefs we all hold when we rely on the scientific method and all that other stuff.
It's the best method we have of discovering these things.
But what I'm saying, I got a point here to get off here. I don't want to get dragged too far down into the weeds on whether or not here. I mean, I think we all accept, what science will tell us or the explanations that science gives us, right? And so based on that foundation, we're accepting that kind of stuff. So for any God to exist in the universe, right, that can interact and then change things, change the laws of physics, doing that stuff, that undermines any belief that you can hold in science being true. Well, in that sense, if you take those axioms, because induction falls apart. If you step out today, then today is not going to be generally the same as it was in the past, because God does whatever he wants to do, right? That God can't exist if you want to accept those axioms of science as true, right? That interventionist God, because if they can change the rules, the laws of physics day to day, all scientific endeavor fails.
Well, you don't necessarily have to take that leap. You can simply make a simple point. You can say, if this statement, if God exists, then he can hide himself from all scientific endeavors. It doesn't take any more leaps further.
I've heard that argument too before.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that religion persists is because it's a simple, basic concept. If God exists, therefore, science cannot quantify or be able to discover him if he doesn't want to be discovered. Now, which is a logical argument if
Well, science can never discover gods anyways. It can only give natural explanations. It can never give supernatural explanations.
That's right.
Right? It's one of the axioms of science.
yeah, which why it falls apart is because nobody's ever been able to prove anything to be supernatural. And
That's
if
right.
you can't demonstrate anything beyond the natural order, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
But then what I'm getting at here
Yeah.
is so that's one of the other the parts of foundations of science is that it's only going to give natural explanation. So you can never have scientific evidence for the supernatural. You just never can have it. It's never a thing there.
Well,
But
we don't have
one-
ways to study it. That's for sure. Like if it's
At this
there,
point.
we have no current ways to investigate it.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole reason is because we have to assume these certain principles about induction and stuff being true. And if
Right.
you introduce a supernatural agent that can change anything on a whim, you cannot hold those positions to be true, right? That's fundamental axiom. So science, you can't do anything. So science can never route back to the supernatural in that sense, right? So it's not hard to say, all interventionist gods don't exist. Now, we could be wrong. That axiom could be, that wrong that we hold, and this stuff stays the same, right? That fundamental axiom could be wrong. But if we're going to hold to it, then interventionist gods are gone. It's hard to say they don't exist because we're holding to this particular principle. And then if you get to something like a deist god, then you have another problem. And, in the simple way to discharge not holding that belief and saying, hey, I believe it doesn't exist, because essentially what you're saying is, you got Occam's razor, is a pretty easy way to go through it. You're multiplying other assumptions beyond necessity for an explanation, right? So you cut that out of there.
Well said.
Play that doesn't play there.
The
Right.
problem
So
I-
all that is is perfectly fine justification, discharges burden of proof to say they don't exist. Right.
The problem I have with Occam's razor is I know that a lot of people use it, and it's a very useful tool. But the problem we have is because if anybody talk to any physicist, you'll realize instantly that the things that we would assume to be the simplistic explanation for the universe just doesn't hold water. It's more than likely to be something that we wouldn't even begin to even think was the explanation that turns out to be the explanation.
So you've got the colloquial understanding of Occam's razor. The simplest answer is always the best solution. That's not Occam's razor. That's not the law of parsimony, which is what Occam's razor is, right? That is, you don't multiply your assumptions beyond necessity, right? So you don't start. So all of our universe and stuff can be explained simply with science. Adding a deist with all the a deist type of god with all these attributes and all this other stuff, you're multiplying a bunch of stuff that you don't need into the explanation.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the opposite. When somebody says God did it, that is the simplistic way in their mind.
Yes,
Doing
but that's
science is but doing science is a much more complex endeavor than just positing a God.
But the God is complex, more complex than science.
It only becomes that way when you do an infinite regression. Well, where did God come from? And who created that God? That's when it becomes a complexity. But if
It's
one just wants
unavoidable.
it's unavoidable. I agree. But science is much harder to do than religion. And
Let me put it to you this way: if everything just ceased to exist, okay, all the humans on the planet just died suddenly, and some other species evolved up on our planet, science would be the exact same when they discovered it again. Math, science, all of that would be exactly like it was when we discovered it and came to know it. But religions would be completely different, if any even
They're right.
evolved.
that I can't agree with that because
Oh, why not?
because
Look how many religions there are on the planet right now. How many different gods there are.
Well, it might just be the conservative mindset. No.
it might be, and I try to give I'm trying to be honest here. The things that we know is so much smaller than the things we don't know that we don't know. And
There's lots we don't know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and some of them we don't even know to ask the questions of. And
For sure.
We could never assume that the new species that came about didn't take a different path and discover new truths that we didn't, and it completely
That's also
on his
possible.
head.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, that's just the ones that they do find that are the same as the ones that we've already found would be the same.
But science.
But then you would have to argue that there are scientific truths.
Well, but
and we can't posit that.
The what we've discovered with science is about how reality works. Reality still works regardless of how much of it we've studied. It'll still continue to work that way as far as we know.
Yeah, but the people in the 1700s thought that same thing. And they turned out to be wrong about a whole variety of different things.
And that's the key to science. Science can be corrected, unlike a religious doctrine.
Yeah.
We'll
Science gets updates.
And that's why we say science gives us tentatively the best understanding of reality.
Well, the scientific method.
Yeah.
Well, if you hold that as our scientific models are actually describing the phenomenon, and they're not just a useful instrument, which is another scientific, scientific instrumentalism.
Well,
right? We may not actually have a good understanding of the phenomenon. We just have a model that works.
Yeah.
Right. We have a model that works, but it may not be complete. Like the idea of the Big Bang, which after better understanding of quantum theory was updated by Penrose and Hawking to support multiple Big Bangs. That's an example of things.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the Big Bang. We had what is it? You had a non-vacuum that turned into a vacuum, and to put it kind of in simplistic terms, went from a state of non-vacuum to becoming a state of a vacuum, or as close to vacuum as we have in space now, and that whatever tiniest little particle of matter, that condensed matter, suddenly had an avenue to expand because of the vacuum. And that's basically what the Big Bang is. What happened before that, we don't know yet, because we haven't been able to go past that. So
you know how dogs are scared of vacuum cleaners. I wonder if the vacuum is kind of a mirror effect and scared God somehow. That's why we can't find him.
Just quiet.
That's why he
That
spells
was a
his
terrible
name
joke. That didn't go the way I
That
hoped.
was bad.
That's why he spells his name backwards.
Thank you, Mikey. You fixed that for me.
Chick save.
Mikey, you've been quiet for a while. What's your thoughts on all this?
I'm listening. I mean, because like I get Red's point, and I get like his rationale, his reasoning. I just never go there. Like his point is perfectly salient and perfectly valid, and I get it. I just never argue that way because I don't. Like I don't like if someone says, "Well, what about this?" I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like you can't make me care about this. Like everything Red said was right, but I will never argue that to somebody because I don't care that they don't believe me. Like I just can't.
I enjoy the insights from Red. They're actually quite deep and very clear and
Red's a smart
interesting
dude.
to listen to every single time I learn something.
He's definitely a smarter cookie than me. I'm like the broken cookie at the bottom of the bag that is equally as delicious, but boy, it can't show up.
And most importantly, his avatar reminds my kids of Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo series.
It does look like Shaggy.
It looks like a cleaner version of Shaggy because he looks like he has his hair nice and done.
Yeah,
I just love the way it's pointing and laughing.
That's good.
Red was nice enough to do a for the Bin podcast. He did a Christmas video for us.
Yeah.
Because we put out a Christmas video of everybody who had been on the show that year to say thanks to everybody. And it was really cool. And then there's this little avatar just dancing around, talking, smiling and shit. The smiling and the blinking still creeps me out. Like,
it all works in the setup. I gotta fix it though, because I haven't streamed in like 6 months or done anything live recording with it. So all the updates to the software I use is basically broken.
Yeah,
so I gotta go back. I basically just got to import the image again and go back through all the new updates to do a whole new puppet so that it works right this time.
Yeah, I got any more questions for me before I get up out of here?
I got a question. It's got nothing to do with anything we've been talking about, though.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Oh, here we go.
On the Discord we hang out with ACD there, they've labeled me the disc golf guy, so because I always try and come up with a disc golf question. Are you familiar with the sport disc golf, frisbee golf?
Not at all.
No?
No.
Oh man, I urge you to look into it and check it out. It is fun as hell.
Yeah.
Hang on. You don't know that, Darkberry aside, so don't even pretend that you do. You don't know that was the first and most precise. Fine-tune. Don't stop using the word fine-tune.
Fine-tune?
Okay?
What?
Yeah, I
Stupid.
don't like that.
So the
It's
fine-tuned
dumb.
argument is garbage.
Yes, it
Because so one of the big problems with any fine-tuning argument, right, is that you're assigning probabilities to certain events here that you don't have no way to assign the proper probabilities to.
That's right.
Right.
You have
But
none
if
of the
you just take
variables.
probabilities in general, right, like flipping coins, doing all this other stuff, we get out to so far, we get those astronomical numbers that Christians and apologists are, well, that's impossible. The probability is too hard, but it's an event that happened, right? Because at each event, you're looking at all these events and say the probability of all these events is this, this, and that. But each time an event comes up, it might be a 50% chance, a 90% chance given the current situation, right? If you're looking at determinism and stuff like that, and how
No, science does not
determinism
support
and
it.
stuff like that. So, like in certain situations, certain things can only happen based on everything else behind it that happened, right? In terms of how the universe would evolve and do all that other stuff. So if you're like, well, if you try to isolate it and just, well, this probability and whatever, there's like a trillion different things that could happen here. Stuff is like, no, there's probably 2 or 3 that could happen.
Here we go.
And the one that happened, and just followed along there.
I got a question for people.
You don't know that.
I got a question for people who think the universe was fine-tuned. If the universe is fine-tuned, then what is heaven? I would really like to know, is heaven fine-tuned, and why don't we look like heaven?
The universe as it exists right now is in such a state where life could evolve. That's what they mean by
Earth.
fine-tuned. But if it was so fucking fine-tuned, and if this deity or whatever you believe in made it just for us, then why can't we fucking breathe in space? And why is space so fucking vast that we'll never, at least not in the next 2,500 lifetimes, be able to go all the way to the edge of it?
Yeah.
And why is it so hard to live in volcanoes and deserts?
Why can't we breathe underwater?
Maybe we're in prison. Maybe the earth is a prison, and we've been sitting here. We've acted up in heaven, and God punished us and put us here.
There's no evidence.
Yeah, with God, you can create anything. You just, whatever you can think of, you can just throw at God's feet. It's the God of the gaps. Whatever you can explain, you can just posit that God has an explanation for it. Yeah. But honestly, it makes no sense as an architect
Don't accept that.
Create a universe.
There's no evidence.
So I'm curious where this quote is that there's broad agreement on physicists and cosmologists the universe is fine-tuned for life.
That's
And
not
what that
true
means.
at all.
See, that's an apologist quote that's saying that here.
Yeah.
And they're not saying like there. And so what they're taking from it, I assume it's apologist close, but that sounds very apologist trying to make that kind of broad agreement. But what they're saying there is that, oh, well, if this had changed, this was different by this bit of a fraction, it would be different here. Well, that's not fine-tuned, right? It may not even be possible for it to be that different based on the things before it, right? So this is the argument against fine-tuning, right? It's like you're like, well, if this has changed this much, well then this wouldn't hold together this certain way, and so life as we understand it wouldn't come up to exist, right? Yeah. But you're assigning that, so if it could be off like this much, well then it's got that much probability that it's going to be off that way too. And it's like, well, no, that's not how that works, right?
Yeah. It could have been better. Lawrence Krauss brings this up in many of his talks. If the universe was had a net in I can't be Lawrence Krauss because I can't explain it the way he does, but the universe could have been much better tuned, and we would have had a variety of life teaming all throughout the universe. So this whole argument that the universe is fine-tuned has been debunked multiple times.
Well, I'd say there's probably a pretty good chance that life exists quite a bit all over the universe, given that the basic.
I think so too.
And the most common thing we find in looking, I forget what the hell they're called. What are they? What are the molecules that we can detect? Like there's such a base thing, and then like the basic print for life. Now, obviously, if they're existing in like the ice particles and stuff like that in space, they're not going to evolve into life, and the chemicals aren't going to.
You're talking about the little dudes?
The LHRs is the acronym I remember, but I forget what it's.
Neutrinos, probably.
No, not the neutrinos.
No, not neutrinos.
No, they're on the steps we get life. and they
Higgs
exist
boson?
all over the
Trino,
that's
trino
none of
acid
that.
or
It's
something.
a chemical molecule. They're LHRs. I forget what LHR stands for. I'm drawing a blank in my head. Give me a second.
Hydrogen collider?
No.
I think you need helium or
Lu-
hydrogen. or something.
Luteinizing hormone receptor.
No.
What? Metachlorians.
Most commonly.
Like Star Wars.
What part of universal constants are they not understanding that they misinterpret the constants as variables is what I don't get.
Yeah.
The constant variables.
That's a contradiction. That's an oxymoron.
Is it amino acids or something of that sort?
Large hadron collider.
I mean, it'd be part of that stuff. It's basically it's the stuff for there and why like stuff like panspermia can still exist, because there's experiments done in the late 90s, 2000s and stuff where they took these molecules, shot them through the machine at the impact of what an asteroid would if it hit Earth, and the molecules become more complex. So panspermia is still a viable hypothesis for the exact steps that we come along, because these molecules are everywhere in space. They're the most common thing. We can detect them with our telescopes and stuff like that. And then when they hit an asteroid, they don't die. They just use that energy of the asteroid impact and they become more complex. So that's certainly one viable path for how it actually happened here on Earth. But like finding like abiogenesis and stuff like that is pretty easy. It's just a matter that there's so many ways it could have taken. We don't know the exact one it took here, but it's very clear now from all the science that you know that's how life came about.
The universe is just so big. It's just there could be life everywhere, and we just haven't hit it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like searching for it's like searching
just the vast distances.
We may never hit it.
We're never going to hit it in the vast amounts
and
of energy.
And then the universe is expanding as well. So everything is being blown apart from each other. So something that we probably would have discovered 2 billion years ago is probably out of reach now or something. But we won't even be able to know that the universe had a big bang at a certain point. So people just use that argument. I don't understand why. I mean, do y'all believe aliens have contacted us? I know it's been like a news story going on.
It's
always a news story.
They do that every decade.
Yeah, they do it. They do it all the time. No, it's just the distance is. It's largely impossible. Like for any kind of the long distance space travel that we would obviously want to not, like when we get closer to the speed of light, time dilation, all that other stuff. So we want to keep it the same. So the one proposed hypothesis that you could do that is basically, shrink the space in front of you and out the back or whatever.
That's the Alcubierre.
Yeah, the Alcubierre drive. And basically the scientists are like, the amount of energy it would take to power something like that to make that kind of long distance travel is pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
We need to find Arrakis, get the spice.
Unless we discover unobtainium, we're not going anywhere. Very far
we just need the spice melange, and then the guild can fold space and we can go wherever we want.
Is that all you guys need?
Just do a favor for the queue.
Is that all you guys needed with some unobtainium? I have some.
Yeah.
but no one asked.
Unobtainium is
unobtainium.
Hey, the Secret Service is going to be at your house tonight.
Yeah, I've got a question for our guest here. You're wondering about questions for conservatives. I'm wondering, what is your opinion of the website conservapedia.org or .com or whatever it is?
Never heard of it.
Ha! And you call yourself a conservative?
I spend most of my time listening or interacting with liberals and people on the left. I try not to get in bubbles. That's why I try to avoid groupthink at all costs. So I just try to stay an independent thinker. So I've never actually heard of it.
Is that why you can still consider yourself a conservative, even though you have a lot of liberal tendencies that you've already betrayed?
You got to give me one that I betrayed, so that I can destroy that.
Would you consider yourself a humanist?
I'm not a humanist. I think humanism is irrational as a concept philosophically.
Huh.
It has no true foundation to actually stand on. But I think that the idea of humanism is a good idea. But as far as actually having a foundation to stand on, I don't agree with it.
So why does humanism need a foundation?
I don't know what you're basing your morals on. What exactly? How do you consider your values to be objective? Why should somebody agree to be a humanist based on what?
I don't think morals are objective. Actually,
Then why should anybody be a humanist? What is your argument for humanism?
Mutual good.
Yep.
Based on who?
See,
Who defines what good is?
where we need to get along in order to survive as a group. So we will make subjective determinations on what's right and wrong, and from there we can make non-subjective determinations on a particular action being moral or immoral.
Yes,
but that's about as far as it goes. It's still not fully objective, right?
Yeah, so you have to convince other people to agree with your subjective opinion.
Correct.
And I just don't see that happening, for one. And for two, I mean, if you don't have...
But it's a personal thing.
I have evidence of that happening. That we have the rule of law. The rule of law. That's evidence that that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not... I don't see... If what is the point of being a humanist if... How do you convince somebody to be a humanist? Like, what is your argument towards me? Why, if I say I'm not a humanist, what would you say to me to convince me to your side?
You probably already are, but you just don't consider yourself one.
No, because sometimes humans need to be killed. Sometimes humans need to be imprisoned. Sometimes humans need to be
imprisoned. Yeah, but why do they need to be killed?
Hitler needed
always
to be
a better
killed.
option.
Hitler needed to be killed. I mean, it's just.
I don't agree with that. And I'm an ex-Jew.
Like, he didn't have to be killed. He just needed to not be doing what he was doing. Like, what doing is the problem. The person.
If you could go back in time and become a friend of his and raise him, or let's say you could arrange that his parents gave him up for adoption and he ended up being raised in a different family, he may not even be the same person. I don't think it's good to kill people just because they're horrible people.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to create a scenario to where you can avoid the obvious. If I'm standing behind Hitler while he's sending Jews to the gas chambers, and I can stop what's happening, I'm going to put a bullet in his head. There's no other thing around.
That won't stop it.
But that won't stop it.
It may not, but
it
might cause us. It might cause a spasm within the movement. Their leader is dead. People kill leaders all the time,
or you
get rid of their influence.
You kill Hitler, and his second in command gets even more radicalized, like you were talking about earlier.
This is hypothetical.
That's the risk.
Because, well, of course it's hypothetical.
All hypothetical.
This was 1945. Of course it's hypothetical.
Were you there to kill Hitler? It's all hypothetical.
No, it's all hypothetical, which is why I don't see why I should buy, or anybody would buy into humanism. It's based on all hypothetical.
Your situation that you painted was hypothetical.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there were troops there who went to kill Hitler. They went to stop Germany. They had to kill people in order to achieve that goal. You're telling me that there were people, the soldiers should have just showed up and asked them nicely to stop gassing Jews? No, people had to die in order to stop it. That's just a reality of life.
Forecast. 12 million people overall. 6 million of them happen to be Jewish.
Do you think there is such thing as objective morality?
No, of course not.
Okay. No.
Yeah, I'm a relativist. I don't buy objective morality at all.
There are things that I'm sure all of us could agree objectively is moral.
No,
we could agree subjectively on, and then make
objectively,
agreement.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
There's a couple things like the Hitler thing. Yeah, the war was necessary to stop it, right? Nobody's going to argue against that, but that's not against the fundamental thing of humanism either. In any kind of humanism belief, right? No. So it's a really weird idea of humanism, like you can never end somebody's life and stuff like that. So it's really, really weird. Understanding of what humanism is.
No, that's not.
I think a lot of people that hold to humanism don't have kind of a weird kind of amorphous idea of what they mean by it.
Nobody said that, harmonica man.
Humanism has changed.
Nobody said that
to what it is. It's so the meaning hasn't been consistent.
Yeah, I hear different definitions of what humanism is based on who I ask.
Like humanism rose out of Christianity. Right, and stuff like that too. So the earliest humanists were all theists and stuff like that. And so
how would you define it? How would you define humanism? And then I can tell you whether or not I think that worldview is something that is sound.
That's a great question.
So but you're arguing as like a relativist, and you're looking for sound stuff.
I just don't see how atheists argue for more like. the moment you start to create a worldview that you tell other people that they should adhere to or that they should follow, people are going to ask you based on what, and you have to have a good answer for that. And if you don't have a good answer for it, you're not going to convince enough people to actually make a difference.
I'm not.
And-
wait a minute.
Nobody's disagreeing with it. That you should be able to set it up here. But like, even if you take some fundamental axioms or whatever and derive from there, that's perfectly fine way to set up a moral system. Even if like the way you use objective morality and stuff like here. So I'm a moral realist. I believe objective morality exists. I believe multiple objective moralities can exist at the same time. It's a big, complicated, big thing here to get into here. I'm not going to get to this here, but like one of the things I wanted to get to before we got to this, but like the argument is like, what's your argument for this? What's your argument for this? And like, so if morals are subjective, you got to give the argument for it. If morals are objective, you got to give the argument for them, right? Because even if objective morality existed in like the strongest, strict thing is like written into the universe kind of idea of objective morality, we can stumble upon and say, it's written in the universe as objective morality. Why should we follow it, right?
Yeah.
So any morality is going to have an argument for why you should follow it, right? But that doesn't make something, and this is getting to something that nobody else is here, but that doesn't mean all of a sudden that, well, morality is subjective, or this morality is subjective, or this morality is, objective morality can never exist, kind of stuff. So, but like humanism is largely focused on the betterment of mankind, right? The advancement there, the placement on human agency and stuff like that. Yeah. Those are the kind of things largely with humanism, and it depends on your specific movement within humanism and what sort of humanism you believe in and stuff like that. But like I said, humanism is a word that's changed quite a bit for everything from all the different intellectual movements. Like I said, it evolved in the Renaissance period.
Let me just latch on. Okay, go ahead.
One quick point. And just so that people aren't conflating, it may be more in the audience. It's just atheism and humanism are two different things. It's not the case that
I don't think anybody was confused about that.
No.
Others
listening to this might wonder about this kind of stuff. I just want to make the point out there. That's all.
Yeah. Atheism is a position on something like that, and humanism is a worldview and ideology towards something around how things should be, right? And like I said, it's changed so much over the last 600-700 years.
It's multiple worldviews, I think.
There's so many different things. So like when secular humanism and stuff is largely, or from what I gather from people that use the secular humanist label, like the separation between church and state kind of stuff, the advocacy of science over religion tends to fall into that for a lot of movements. It doesn't necessarily have to be, because secular, as much as people think secular is just like, hey, atheism, secular is just like, hey, we keep this stuff separate and we can have a pluralistic society and all that other stuff, right? And all these other beliefs. So you can hold to all sorts of different tenets. But largely, one of the key defining factors of humanism is put humans first, kind of thing, in the idea, and focusing things on like the natural world and stuff like that. So humanism, like when it came out of the Renaissance stuff. So when we start going from the medieval parchment drawings and stuff like that, if you see the art like that, to the more hyper realistic stuff, that's part of the humanist movement in the Renaissance. There's largely putting that focus on nature and humans at the front there, and then all the different philosophical movements that claim humanism go in all sorts of different directions. So you'd have to ask individually what they hold to and stuff like that. But yeah.
So because that was a lot, and I'm just trying to, can we say that at the core of humanism is the betterment of mankind, or putting humans first, I guess?
Yes, that'd kind of be the one that would unite all forms of humanism.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so the problem with that is everybody's idea of what would make mankind better, or how to put a human first, will vary widely all over the spectrum. It's not a cohesive
as anything.
But when people bring up humanism, to me, it sounds like a atheistic attempt at trying to show religion that we can be just as moral as you can.
So I would disagree. I disagree, because humanism evolved out of the religion. So it wasn't, we can be just as moral as you. So everybody's got their own. Everybody in humanism is going to have different forms of morality that they adhere to, and that's why the humanist movement goes in all sorts of different directions, like you say, right? So the morality comes before the humanism, right? So I think that's kind of where the confusion is. But yeah, like the morality of it is all before it. So whether you're a consequentialist, a deontologist, a virtue ethicist, a pragmatist, something like that, or how you approach morality and ethics, and which system you hold to, is going to influence that idea of humanism. But it's not, hey, we're humanists, or we're as moral as the religious.
Well, I just noticed that a lot of atheists are gravitating towards the humanist label, and to me, it's just I don't know. I guess, like I said, I'm all about truth, and if something doesn't have a good foundation or something to stand on, I just don't see a reason to actually adopt it as a worldview.
So, what kind of nihilist are you? I just nihilist before it, because sometimes it sounds like you get into mereological nihilism where nothing is real or anything like there. But if you accepted other forms of nihilism, like the pragmatic argument for a morality or building a certain form of morality and stuff, there you do too. So, what kind of nihilist are you?
I'm a nihilist from top down. Nothing matters. From what I gather, I could never prove that anything means anything. I don't feel like there's no purpose to anything. I only act and behave in this world to what seems to be the most effective while I'm here. And I'm a human, and being a human comes with certain things, and I'm just fulfilling those urges. If I fall in love, that's part of being human in the world that I seem to inhabit. That's how my nihilism works for me.
So it sounds like I'm trying to put together, maybe you're not familiar with the terms. It sounds like you hold a mereological nihilism, but then you start asking everybody else, which is that nothing exists, right? All our structures, all that other stuff is non-existent.
No, it could exist. I just can't prove that it does. It's a pure... It just seems to be this is what my reality is, but I can never guarantee you that it's 100% what reality is. We're deceived all the time. The colors that we see is not really the colors that they are. So I'm
really confused trying to understand like the category of your nihilism, where the argument would come from there and stuff, right? Like,
I'm a nihilist.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's all forms of nihilism, like things nihilism towards morality, stuff like that. But you can hold all sorts of other things like truth here. So like you're asking like for the truth of things or what's real and all this other stuff here. But then at the same time, you make arguments that kind of contradict it and suggest that you believe nothing's real, and that truth couldn't even be real and stuff in your form, which is like the mereological nihilism. That's like the ultimate form of nihilist kind of thing. But then, like even with nihilism, you turn around and you put through like pragmatic, like you said, most effective things. You can piece together back morality, law, legal stuff, all that through like a pragmatic lens.
Right?
It just sounds like you're trying to do, but then you turn around to everybody else that may put to like a pragmatic argument or some other argument where they piece it together, and it's like, well, what's the truth? What's the truth? What's stuff like there, and
I understand.
It just seems contradictory to me.
Let me see if I can clear it up for you. There's two levels. My nihilism is purely based on a philosophical level. When we start to talk about things that are pragmatic in the real world, then I tend to float towards what's the most effective in the reality that we inhabit. That's when I start to make my arguments and start to debate or see which one is more logical given what we know or what might be the best effective way in the world that we inhabit.
So are you taking a pragmatic
application
theory of truth and stuff there when you're asking for truth things? What's the truth after how they're true? Excuse me.
I'm pragmatic in application, but in theory, I'm a nihilist top down. I'm 100% nihilist. If that makes sense. But I still have to live in the world, so I still have to act as if these things matter because it's the only reality that I know. So I have to still function as a human being, and just like any animal, being an animal comes with certain natures. Humans tend to think that they are above the animal kingdom. We still have fundamental urges and natures, and that's what I'm reacting to. I understand that I'm a human being who lives in a world at the moment with other human beings.
We are primates.
Yeah, and we have to base our we have to act in a way that's most effective while dealing with other people who may be right, who might exist. You know what I mean? So I could be wrong, and everything does mean something, but I would never know that I know. I know I'm confusing. It takes a lot to actually.
It's not confusing. It's contradictory. That's why I'm just rubbing my beard, because it's like there is no point in having the debate or the conversation whilst holding the nihilist views that you hold.
Well, so
even philosophically, like as you're talking about, because philosophically, what good does it do you to have these conversations about things that you don't know or care to know exist or not?
Because it could be true.
So what I want to step in here, and where I'm seeing the problem with some of the back and forth disagreement here when someone brings up like, well, I'm not a humanist because I don't. When Javier brings up, I'm not a humanist because I don't believe there's any good foundations or anything like that for it. What I'm getting at, or what I'm trying to get at, is that you can, as a nihilist, right, and that's all nihilists through history, even Nietzsche and stuff like that, where I'm definitely not wearing pants. That's why my camera's off. No, I'm wearing pants. I've never done face thing here. I'm an animated character online. I've always been an animated character online. But anyways, what I'm getting at is that you seem to hold to like there's fundamental natures of humans or stuff like that. All this stuff is being true while at the same time and being real stuff while at the same time holding to, like, it sounds like, now maybe you're not holding to the mereological nihilist where none of this is real. Like these categories, these fundamental categories, nothing in here is real. But it doesn't sound like when you say that there. And so sounds like you believe in some level of construction, categorization, things like that as being real, and you're trying to build that stuff out of there. Instead of looking at from saying, hey, none of this is real, and then turn around and try to build something pragmatic out of this. Is that making sense? Like as you rebuild these structures.
I get what the confusion is. Okay, like somebody said, if you're a nihilist through and through, why have any debate? Why have any of these conversations? Me saying that I'm a nihilist, meaning that nothing has any purpose, or all of this could be a simulation, and none of this could be real. But I also have to accept the fact that all of this could be real, because I don't know that I am living in the real world. So I have to behave in such a way that this is the real world. But philosophically, I can never prove that.
That sounds like you're arguing on how to handle solipsism and not necessarily nihilism.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah,
Like I keep hearing for your nihilism the solipsism item. So the solipsism is, we could all be brains in the vats and we can't, we have no good.
I'm also saying that if I
personally think it's ridiculous, but that's me.
Yeah, I'm also saying that if I die today, none of this would matter. I don't believe there's an afterlife. I don't believe there's an overall purpose to the universe. I don't believe none of that.
All right, so it sounds like you're not even a mereological nihilist. You're much more narrow nihilist in that sense that would give rise to something like existentialism in philosophy and reasons and meaning and giving meaning in the meaningless world kind of thing. Nihilist, right? So nothing's meaningful in your thing, and so you take like philosophical. Well, I mean, I'm talking about like movements. Like existentialism is a way to build meaning in a meaningless world, in the nihilist sense, right?
Yeah,
and that's that philosophical. So that sounds more like the nihilist you are instead of, and that clears some things up for me. It might not clear up everything for else in the conversation, but it
always gets messy. Because I meet people all the time. If you tell them you're a nihilist, they automatically assume, well, why would you do anything if you're a nihilist?
No, see, that's wrong too, because nihilism, like Nietzsche with his Übermensch and stuff like that, the Overman, right? Philosophy is a way to say none of this is this meaningful stuff, and a way to build it back up. So nihilism is against like complete nothing anarchy and stuff like that. That's a fundamental misunderstanding of nihilism in all forms. I'm just saying there's like different levels of nihilism.
Yes, I've tried to be as pure of a nihilist as I possibly can, but I'm still human. If that's the best way I can put it. I have friends and families that I believe exist, and we inhabit a world that seems to be real and it seems to have consequences. So I try to best navigate my way throughout this world as best as I possibly can. But I can never 100% say there's meaning to any of it.
All right, so I had to pull up. So you're a nihilist towards the meaning of life, and you're not necessarily a nihilist to existence or knowledge or truth and things like that, right? So being a nihilist to all of that stuff way up there is the murological nihilist.
Yeah.
Granddaddy of everything.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're against like the meaning of life and maybe some forms of knowledge and kind of understandings there and truth values.
Yeah. Because
stuff like that. But it sounds mostly you're a nihilist towards the meaning of life.
Yeah, because at the same time, I'm trying to also not be arrogant enough to think that I could even know if there was a meaning of life. How would I even begin to even know that?
What I do?
No.
Shirts are in the dryer, Red.
Somebody meant to type all your shirts are in the dryer, but it came out as Red's shits are in the dryer.
I was probably drunk enough to do that at one point.
And yeah, no kidding. And tons of mice, really? That sounds awful. And then, I could fix that, but shits in the dryer is funnier.
Yeah.
Shits in the dryer will fuck up the shirts. I was hoping you weren't going to retract that.
So,
pro tip: don't shit in the dryer.
So let me ask this and test your nihilism. So do you believe? Do you hold the stance that no knowledge can or does exist? Is that your? Do you hold that stance?
No. What my stance is,
all right.
If knowledge exists,
how would you know?
I could never know that I know. That's the thing. I could never 100% prove that my knowledge is really knowledge. I could just assume that it's knowledge, but I would never be able to know that I know.
Most things that we consider to be knowledge, most things I say that we consider to be knowledge can be demonstrated usually.
Yes, but we have to have some fundamental assumptions before then. We have to first assume that the reality we inhabit is the real reality. We also have to assume that.
Well, how do you do that?
You don't. You base all of it off of assumptions. I'm just going down a philosophical rabbit hole here. Like this.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole, all right.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I'm just trying to think philosophically sound here. Like there are people in mental institutions right now who see things that everybody else don't see. To them, it's real.
Called a hallucination.
Yes.
Mushrooms.
That's a brain thing. Okay, I'm studying a little neuroscience right now, and
I can also
we all experience things every day that are actually hallucinations.
Yes, and
like a minimum of 10 times a day.
Yeah, this whole thing could be happening right now, and I could be in a mental hospital right now envisioning all of this.
I'm here to let you know.
And that's what an illusion would tell me.
Oh, they give you internet access.
Yeah, but I'm not an illusion.
You're a lucky patient. They give you internet access.
Yeah. So, I know it might be confusing to a lot of people, but these are like philosophically, somebody said I think so that I am. But at the end of the day, I know that the world is filled with so many different illusions or things that we believe to see that is really wrong. That's why science is trying to filter all of that stuff out. So if I can't trust my own brain, how do I even begin to say what's true and what's not? What's real and what's not? And that's
a fair question.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I am. Like the brain, it deceives us all the time.
Oh yeah.
That's what rational people do. Question our own thoughts.
Yes, and that's really where I am. I debate myself more than I debate other people all the time.
From what I've learned in these great courses pluses that I'm taking on neuroscience and stuff like that, yeah, it's pretty fucked up what our brains can do to us.
Exactly. So y'all could be a figment of my imagination, and I would never know, and it would be jacked up. And I could never, ever really prove that y'all not. The Truman Show, for example, he spent his whole life thinking that it was real, and it was all a stage.
It's not dragging fictional movies.
Yeah, I know.
But sure, I get the idea.
Yeah. So, but I got to get out of here.
An interesting thing. Well, I'm glad you were able to hang out with us for a little while, Javier.
Yeah, I know I brought a lot in within an hour. So,
this was a good conversation. I think we all got to know how we think about things a little bit better too, which is really good. You came in and you basically shut the fuck up, Mike. You came in here and you basically gave us some challenges, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and any of y'all are welcome to come on my show anytime. I just love having conversations, and we can talk about anything.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Have these
So
conversations.
I appreciate you having me on, Neil, the 604 Atheist. I thank all of y'all for having this conversation with me.
My pleasure.
Please don't talk about me too bad after I leave.
We're not going to talk.
I
Okay,
would
go on.
never
Always
do
good.
that.
No,
I
we're
would
good
never
about
do
this.
that.
Yeah, Mikey would never do that.
I would never do that.
You sound like the one who will.
As soon as someone's gone, he's like, okay, let's talk about him.
It's his
Nailed it.
catchphrase.
That was an illusion, Neil. How do you even know that that's what happened, Neil?
Fair.
Fair.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm gonna be watching a little bit after
Agreed,
this, see how
man.
bad y'all dog me out. But y'all have a good one. I appreciated this so much.
Thanks,
All right,
Javier.
cheers, man.
Oh, it was a pleasure to meet you and chat with you. I really enjoyed it too.
Definitely check me out, the Javier show. Say it twice.
Yep.
Javier.
I'm only saying it once. All right, he's gone. Let's talk about it.
I knew it was coming.
Oh, look at that. Now you got Neil doing that, Mikey. Oh, geez.
It's gonna
I
be a
did it because I
feature.
knew he was going to do it right away, too.
Yeah, I like the excuse.
Well, he's definitely an interesting guy. That's for sure.
Oh,
And I don't think he's as conservative as he thinks he is either. To be
Nope.
honest.
No.
He might have family watching. He has to say that. He shouldn't be saying
No,
that.
I wouldn't. Like, I think that's a reach to go through there. Like he said, he's a libertarian, right? So
Yeah.
the
Yeah, he's
idea or
something.
the messaging as a former libertarian myself was always socially liberal and fiscally conservative. So if
Yep.
he's fine, all that other stuff is there here.
That's true
Now,
libertarianism, too, by the way.
Red, I've got a
I'm
question
going
for you.
to I'm going to go the Ayn Rand route and say that's not the way to go in calling it, right? So she hated it being called libertarianism. It's basically a bunch of hippies that didn't want to.
Pay tax.
Well, the hippies were a thing when she did, but what was the thing she said? Oh, it's been so long since I've read
I
and
know.
stuff like that. Basically mocked them because libertarianism as a term, as a terminology, arose as basically equivalent to socialism and things like anarchism, largely through that. So it wasn't necessarily that stuff there. It's basically Ayn Rand's idea of libertarianism is the laissez-faire, kind of form of liberalism, right? So what some people would call like the classical liberals of the 19th century and stuff like that. So that's Ayn Rand's kind of position. She's basically the mind and kind of the following that goes to libertarianism. So if you're gonna in terms of like American libertarianism, but yeah, libertarianism is largely used instead of anarchism because anarchism has negative connotations, and as much as anarchists who will hold the label nowadays, those connotations stretch back for quite a while. So like the political philosophy and the other idea of anarchy, that when people think of anarchy is like a lawlessness and chaos and stuff. That's
not quite what
actually.
that is.
I mean, I'm just using blankly and stuff here, but that's like the first use of, or the words that eventually give us.
That's what a lot of people think
and
anarchy is. Yes.
But so it's not necessarily, there's no ruler or anything like that. It comes from anarchia, which is without a ruler. It
Which
discovers a
city
time in
in Philadelphia.
Sparta. So the first uses and kind of discussed
You
around
could
is around
thank
a
punk
time in
rock for
Sparta. What?
You can thank punk rock for that thought of what anarchy is.
No, it predates that, right? Because it was used to describe the English Civil War, the anarchy.
Fair enough.
The first in the 18th century. But it arose out of anarchia over this time in Sparta, where the archon, which was the leader, was deposed. Now they weren't completely lawless, or they didn't have rules. It was about like a 6 or 7 month reign of kind of like leaders on this council. When they were conquered, the archon was removed, and they had some leaders from the conquerors and all that. Basically, but that's where anarchy comes from, and it's long historically that period is listed as bad, and that's where anarchy is that kind of the Johnny Rotten kind of anarchy. If like go back to the punk rock reference and stuff like that.
Anarchy in the UK.
Yeah. So his idea of anarchy, but that's pre-existing. But that's the strain of anarchy, meaning that kind of stuff here. It's that you could associate with like Johnny Rotten, and just fuck it, tear it all down, bust shit up, nothing there, and not
Yeah.
a political philosophy on how to reorganize society without rulers. Right. So there's two meanings, multiple usages and stuff there. I know anarchists get antsy about it, like the whole what do I want to say? Like Biden said, violent anarchists, so we're going to arrest them like on the trail here, and then all the people that support are self-identified. Oh, they're coming after our political ideas. It's like, you guys are being fucking stupid. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's there. Anarchy also means this kind of law. You can be applied to this lawlessness and destruction, property, and all that other stuff, right? That's perfectly valid definition. It's the definition that predates the political definition of it. So I don't know how I got on that tangent. I go on like people don't know. I go on tangents, and there's so many things that connect. I may have some point at some point in the other. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, libertarianism.
Yes.
But,
that's where it started.
It was basically like there. So anarchism, that bad anarchist understanding of anarchy. A lot of anarchists took on libertarian or libertarianism as a.
I've noticed that too.
Right, and that was in the 19th century to basically avoid political and legal issues for calling themselves anarchists, that they want to do all that other stuff. So that's where libertarianism comes in, and then the American libertarian movement took the name basically to call themselves, instead of to keep calling themselves liberals, as social liberalism arose and kind of the Keynesianism approach in the early 20th century. Kind of thing. So they took that libertarian label from the anarchists and used it to apply to themselves, and that's where the libertarian comes from. So, and I think it was argued against that's not true libertarianism.
Every time I think I know something, here comes fucking Red. Just to make me feel a little bit dumber. But thank you for enlightening me, sir.
Funny thing about the anarchists that Red's touching on is that it seems they can't agree on a definition of anarchy. So, the anarchists. But I noticed in the chat people are still talking about your dryer, and I've got a question for you, Red. Is this a picture of your dryer?
What am I? Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Looking at the thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd feel that way after a while. Looks like he's drunk and ready to just vomit everything up.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what my dryer looks like all the time.
When you lose too many socks.
This one's got a red sock or some red shirt or something.
Red shirt hanging out of it, yeah.
Oh, Captain Kirk might not like the red shirt there. Yeah.
Well, I bring it up because the knobs on there and stuff have the black dots. The eyes are a different direction. The red shirt is the tongue coming out.
Yeah.
Drunk dryer.
Yeah, I see that too.
Drunk dryer.
That's what I was making the joke on.
How dare you?
He always gets spun
Apparently
up.
I'm right on the bridge.
Hey, he's a nihilist. He's a captain. What do you mean, first officer?
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, that's what my shirt is. My Star Trek shirt is the commander, first officer.
Oh, yours is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
3 pips. Yeah.
Pip pip hooray! No. All right.
What's my ethical philosophy? Ooh, that is a big one to go into. Not loaded, but I don't think mine necessarily. The one I adhere to is necessarily easily defined by labels to defend that way. But I am. So if I'm going to take this here, just got to do a lot of things. So I'm a moral realist. I think moral facts exist, right?
Yep. Me too.
I think you can have multiple objective moralities and stuff there. And so largely what I do with the objective, subjective stuff. So if you take something like divine command theory, right? That's subject the mind of God. So whatever God commands, so that's a subjective moral system, right? An objective moral system is a set of a self-contained coherent system that you can someone can pick it up and learn the rules, like learn the rules of chess, right? And they can decide they can take those rules and deduce out moral claims, what's right and what's wrong, right? Independent of me, right?
Yeah.
So if we give you these sets of axioms, or independent of Neil, right? So that's the kind of objective I look at. And so one of the ways I argue for like the objective morality is to take mathematics, right? And I think I've used this example in past streams on here, but in math, do parallel lines cross?
Not by definition.
Depends on the mathematical system you use.
Oh, non-Euclidean?
Right. So in Euclidean mathematics, they'll never cross. But in tongue-tied, non-Euclidean mathematics, they'll cross at the point of infinity in certain non-Euclidean. So this is like algebraic geometry and projection geometry and stuff like that. So, and I argue, well, so does the existence of a math that says parallel lines never cross and existence of math with parallel lines that do cross, does that make either of them no longer objective, right? I mean, and that's the answer to whoever I'm talking about, because most everybody here, I think, takes math as something that's objective, right? And that's the same way that we'd argue morality. And then if we go further in kind of stuff here, I don't take, and this is the big two everybody looks at, like value monism or value relativism in moral philosophy. I adhere to a value kind of pluralism that for the most part, for the big things that are important to morality, there's they all deduce out here, but like the one argument that's using like value pluralism, like I said, I'm using all these descriptors to kind of best describe it as succinctly as I can in this little situation to explain things by appealing to these other ideologies that are more well known that you can search up the term and look at it. So one of the things in like value pluralism is value monism is that everything comes back to one thing, and you can determine a hierarchy of everything, right? So this would be like things like your moral absolutism and stuff like that, or some of the stuff there. And then moral relativism is that none of the values are, it doesn't matter. There is no hierarchy, nothing there. And then pluralism says that, well, for the core of it, there's a hierarchy, but then you get to other things like, is it that have different expectations of you in morality, and then choosing between them doesn't really matter. So the analogy used is a mother and a nun, right? So which, in morality, which of those things should a woman choose, becoming a mother or a nun? Because they have largely contradictory things,
right?
You're nun, you're celibate, right? So it's hard to be that there, and you got all these other things. And the mother, generally speaking, you're going to have sex, right? So you're going to violate that celibacy. And so, like, the moral pluralist part says, well, that doesn't matter, right? There's no moral either way. They can choose to be the nun, the mother. There's no immoral, moral decision in that.
It is an amoral decision.
If you just want to say amoral, but like there's moral decisions when you decide to become a mother. There are certain duties and morals and things that you got to follow, and when you become a nun, there's different things, and they're contradictory things. And so, how do you choose between the two of them when you become that? So, well, you can choose whatever. It doesn't matter what you choose in that situation.
I choose to be a nun.
I choose to roll initiative.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
18 on the dice. 18 on the dice.
That's a 9. You got me.
Yeah. There you go.
You win this round, Gadget.
See, but the thing about morals change from time to time, culture and stuff like that, that's not really the argument you think, right? Like descriptive moral relativism, that different moralities exist, and all that other stuff, and they change and do all that stuff. That's fine, right? That doesn't defeat the existence of objective morality, right? In there, everybody thinks, well, there's different morals and they're different from each other, and therefore is that, and it's just not the case. That's not being the case. And now, some would say, well, which morality you choose to follow is going to be a subjective choice, so then morality is subjective, and it's like, well, that kind of misses the point. Because if you say that, then which math you choose is going to be subjective as well. And which mathematical rules you accept for things are going to be subjective as well, right? And how you do different things. Like math, when we get to the higher levels, I'm not competent enough to do it. I'll say that right now. I'm aware of this stuff. And a lot of the stuff I talk about, I understand it these are the things here, but I'm not like, oh, you come sit me down at this particular math and or this different form of logic or whatever. And that's another one I'll use beyond math. Like I said, I go on tangents and my brain runs 90 million miles in different directions. But the other one I'd use, if you don't like the example of math, I'd go to logic itself, right? So there are different forms of logic that exist. So most of us, we try to take the 3 fundamental laws of logic, kind of things, identity, non-contradiction, and then excluded middle. But there are logics that do away with that stuff. So paraconsistent logics. And if you get into like, I butcher this word every time, so forgive me if I say it wrong, but it's dialectic. Dialectic paraconsistent logics. So paraconsistent logics do away with one or two parts of one of the two, like non-contradiction or excluded middle, right? And so they do away with those laws to work with that logic, right? In the dialectic forms, weaken the non-contradiction, right? And so where this dialectic paraconsistent logic is used a lot is in quantum mechanics and stuff like that, right? So if you take superposition, right? So in the way the model's set up, superposition, everything's in the same state at the same time, which would be a contradiction, and you can't go anywhere in like traditional logic, right? So you use a logic that can get away with that, and you can deduce further things from this situation. They're not as strong, as firm as like if you use the traditional ones, but larger things. But nobody's going to say that, well, that traditional logic now is subjective and doesn't matter. It's not objective anymore. Some people might, like if you're a real hardcore nihilist and you're like a nihilist in just about everything, you might take that position, but nobody that's working in the real world is ever going to take that position about logic or reason or anything like that, right?
I'm not. I can't be bothered. We need a round the horn question. Alan Man, you're up. Aha!
Thanks.
So,
I'll say this with math has a set of axioms, right? They have a set of axioms that you derive from a certain system, right? And you can have a morality that has those axioms and how to deduce and follow it there. And I'm saying in those same ways, the way that we would accept math as objective, a morality formed in that same way is objective, right? If you accept objective in the math here, you got to accept objective in the morality there, right? Just saying, well, people have different morals. Yeah, people have different morals. People, even if like I said earlier in the thing, if morals were baked into the universe, like that we could just walk over, pick up a rock, and here's the morals, here's what's right and wrong. All that stuff is based in the argument. I don't have to follow it, right? Not following a certain set of morals or not following what's right or wrong doesn't make it wrong, right? Like if you had to follow and adhere to this objective morality and you decide you're not going to, then you can never say anybody does anything wrong, right?
Right.
Because people are going to violate that morality, right? Or they're going to adhere to it or violate. That doesn't make it any less objective if you're holding them to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, round the horn question. Then, what is your favorite Simon Pegg movie? Just totally off topic altogether.
Yeah.
Can I do a show instead?
What was the show that he and Nick Frost were in? I forget the name of it. Is that the one you're thinking of, Mikey?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Which one?
The Boys.
Yeah, he does a good job in there, but he's not.
That's my favorite because I love it when British people have an American accent and absolutely nail it. Like Homeboy sounded like he was from Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was a fun one.
And I didn't expect it of him. Like I was waiting for the jokes to come up and he's just like full of tears. And I was like, oh shit, Simon, don't be so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a good job.
I haven't seen that.
I don't know if that's quite
That's my
a Simon Pegg show though, because he's not
he's in the show.
He's in it, but he's not the
main
lead
guy, right? Yeah, I'm looking for him being the lead.
He plays Huey's dad, so he
Like,
appears.
I wouldn't count Star Trek as being qualifying either because he's not the lead. He's Scotty. He's one of the Yeah, he's close to the lead, but no, he's not the lead. Right? A Simon Pegg movie or show.
I abstain. I don't watch a lot of his shit. I was trying to connect with everybody with the boys.
I have to abstain.
You haven't seen the Cornetto trilogy?
You don't know who Simon Pegg
The
is?
Cornetto trilogy?
Mm-mm.
With you've seen Shaun of the Dead?
Nope.
Yeah.
No,
You've
you haven't
never
seen
seen
Shaun of
Shaun
the Dead
of
or
the
Hot
Dead?
Fuzz?
Nope.
Hot Fuzz?
Nope.
Wow. You have
Never
to
heard
watch
of
those movies, Mikey. They're
I
funny
have.
as
I don't
hell.
watch a lot of TV though.
I have big gaps in my entertainment knowledge.
Yeah. Seriously though, Simon Pegg. World's End
Yeah.
was another one that was mentioned. That was
Yeah,
pretty
World's
funny.
End. World's End's a good one.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite of the Cornetto trilogy.
No. The one with the alien, Paul.
Paul.
That was funny as hell.
I liked it. I haven't watched it in a few years though, but I liked it just because I'm a big Seth Rogen fan. I've watched basically everything he's ever done. Simon, I'm probably gonna go Hot Fuzz over Shaun of the Dead.
Really? Okay. No, I'm Shaun of the Dead. I still love that movie. The scene where you saw him the one morning walking through the streets, and then the next morning walking through the same streets, but all the background characters had those slight changes in them. It was great. Right?
Yeah, so like it's a great movie, but I don't get all the horror references, like the zombie references to older stuff, because I'm not big into that thing where it's like all the action movie references and stuff in Hot Fuzz are me, like the buddy cop stuff and all the action stuff, like Lethal Weapon. So I've seen just about everything there, so I get all the things there, so I get more enjoyment out of Hot Fuzz than I do out of Shaun of the Dead. They're both good movies, but that's where I'm coming from. So I'm not a big zombie guy and horror.
I get it. You're for the greater good.
Yeah. That's such a fun movie though. I watched that endlessly when that came out.
Dude, there's a lot of funny parts in that movie too.
I'm trying to remember what was the name of the show he was on with Nick Frost that they early on his thing. I've seen that's pretty good.
I don't know. I never saw it.
Was it the fantasy sports one?
No. It was a scripted show that they was done, and I think it was, if I remember right, I think it was even before Shaun of the Dead. It's a British one. If
only there was a website.
Yes.
That could tell us what
I'm
movies people were in before. I'm vamping. Before today. Maybe
other people type faster than me when I'm stoned, so I'll let you guys look it up.
And I can't be bothered. I'm very important and busy right now.
Spaced from 99 to 2001. Yeah, so it's even for that.
Okay.
Snakes?
Spaced is a pretty good show.
Were they basically the same characters in that as they were in the Paul movie?
It's not I don't think it's the same thing.
No, I'm not saying it is the same thing, but I mean, basically
they're
the same type of characters.
Oh God, it's been a while since I've seen it.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Nick Frost isn't quite as over the top there, and Simon Pegg's kind of more of the crazier one, as I remembered.
As you do. Oh, spaced.
Yeah.
Catching up on the chat now. Well, I mean, you guys can answer too out there in chat land.
Somebody had said World's End, but I didn't see any other answers that I can think of.
I have to head off. I've got some stuff I got to do, family stuff. So this has been a fun chat, Red. It's always so informative listening to you. I hope that you'll consider at some point putting out a logic course on your channel if you haven't already done so.
No, I haven't done that. That's a
deep well.
Well, cover the basics for people. I mean, just cover the basics for people in a series of short videos, maybe 10 minutes each or something. And you'd probably do quite well with it because you're very good at explaining. You've got a good voice for it, and it's a good pace. And I think it'd be quite good for a lot of people.
Randolph, you want to do a little shilling before you run?
Okay. All right. So,
if I must.
Sure. No, thanks, Mikey. As Neil mentioned earlier, there's the True North Talk program coming up that he and I will be co-hosting as soon as I get the studio done. And for that, you can find out more at www.truenorthtalk.ca. And he also mentioned his links to our YouTube channel and whatnot there.
Are we gonna get a date soon of the first show? Or are we still gonna hold that? Because
I need to make more progress.
For like 2 years, I think now. Obviously, the pandemic got in the way, but
well, kind of. I need to get more progress on the studio first, and I also have family and run a couple of businesses, so I'm juggling my time. So it's hard for me to put a date on it quite yet. But as soon as I can, I will.
What are you missing right now for the studio that you need?
Oh, I need to finish up with the roof. I've got the main portions of the roof done. I just had to fill in some gaps along the sides. And then I'm trying to arrange with a professional roofer schedule when he can come out to do the roof there, because that's a very messy kind of work that I really just don't want to get into. I'd rather just pay for that and have it done right by a professional who's been in business since the 1930s. So so we'll make sure the roof's done properly so it never leaks or anything.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got to do that right, because that'll be an important one. And then after that, I need to build the floor because part of the floor is at an angle, and then we need to do all the wiring and put the walls up, and then I think that's pretty much all of it. So the wiring is not going to be a small job, because there's a lot of different electrical wiring and data wiring I need to put in, because we're going to be putting extra lighting in so we can make sure we get the lighting right. And somebody's going to help me out with the audio who has expertise in sound and has been doing this professionally. So that'll be good. Dick Dawson is his name. You might know him. So that's he's volunteering to help me out with that to make sure we get it right. So, he lives close by. He's about 2 hours away, so he'll make a trip down here for that and everything.
All you Canadians in your relative closeness.
Well,
we can joke about that, but there's.
We're very interested in, we're very enthusiastic about getting this completed. So and I appreciate everybody's interest and patience with this as we work toward it. So thank you very much. And and then there's the Canadian Atheists, National Atheism organization that I started in 2014, and we're advocating for atheism to be regarded as normal, just like religion and theism is regarded as normal in society. Our website address is at www.canadianatheists.ca, and the Normalize Atheism campaign you can find at atheismisnormal.ca website. So thank you very much, Neil and Mikey, for having me on. It was good to see you two again, Red and Canadian Ollieman. And thank you to everybody in the audience for being here. But the show's not over. Stick around. It's only me who's leaving.
No, that's it. I'm shutting it. I'm shutting the whole operation now. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, he's gone. Let's talk about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Randolph. He's a character. We disagree quite often, but over some stuff. But yeah, it's he's a character otherwise. But
I mean that's I don't know any of my friends that I've had for more than like 10 minutes that we haven't had a knockdown drag out argument about something.
Yeah.
When someone always agrees with me, I'm like, oh, I don't trust this motherfucker at all.
Sure. But I mean, it's one disagreement that keeps coming up and up and up, and I gotta watch what I say so we don't devolve into the same arguments we've had over it again and again. The whole atheism and burden proof stuff. So
test your might.
Yeah. So that's just one thing that we're just like we're not going to agree on.
My money's on Randolph.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna just put you in one of them blue tarps in the backyard, put you underneath the studio, and we'll never hear from Red Venture again.
Yep,
that'll be that.
Well, I mean,
that's the horror movie thing you should do, right? You think he's a nice Canadian. The next thing you know, you're bits and pieces by the end of the film.
Yeah,
chopping you up, putting you in the garbage disposal.
Fucking.
You're out in BC as well, are you, Red?
No, I'm in the U.S. I'm in. I'm in Minnesota.
Any good disc golf courses around where you're at?
Yeah, there's a couple of free ones, and then there's the the more expensive ones. I don't play at them very often. My brother and his friend are very good at it, so are very big into the disc golf. So I'll go out and disc with them on the free courses, and then I'll go play like the league courses they have.
Cool.
I'm not sure exactly where it's at because I haven't actually gone because I'm like, I'm not going to pay to play disc golf. Outside buying the disc and stuff like that. So I'll go to the public parks that have them and go play a couple rounds with them.
Cool. Okay.
On a level of 1 to just throwing a frisbee, how hard is disc golf? Is it like up there in difficulty, or is it one of those things like just play for a little bit, you'll be fine?
You can get on and play. Like I don't play it as regularly as they do, and I do better than them a lot of times. But then I'm also the idiot that well, I shouldn't say idiot about it, but I used to throw disc in track and field in high school.
Oh, so you're a discus fucking throw. You're a chucker.
Yeah, discus, shot put. I did the triple jump, and then I ran sprints and stuff.
If you know how to throw stuff, that's just going to help you in disc golf.
So I just pick it up and do it here. A lot of it is deciding, like there's different discs that'll do different things. Like they'll arc different ways and stuff like that. So you may want to control that. So it's basically like picking your clubs in regular golf.
Yeah.
Me, I don't know how much I get out of the different changes and stuff like that because I'm just like, boom, throw it as hard as I can and just like basically throw my arm out as I go and just let the thing just sail. It works. Every now and then you lose one and you get your +4 on the hole or whatever. But if you do it right, you can get it here. Like we had one, we were finished on the hole. I hit a tree on my drive, and so I was kind of stuck in the trees in an odd position. And the hole wasn't too terribly far away, too far for the putter disc for that. So I just like zung it through. Like there was a small window as hard as I could. I hit the pole just right, and it fell right in the hole. And I was like, yes, I ended up winning the round on that one when it probably should have taken me 2 shots.
I had a putt like that just Thursday night, dude. My drive went wild to the left. I was probably about 50 feet from the basket through a narrow window. I had to stand sideways and backwards to throw the disc, and I just laced it right straight at the basket and hit the post in the middle. It dropped right in. Yeah, it was for birdie from 50 feet. It was a ridiculous shot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
I'm out all the time here. I go twice a week as it is now, and the course where I'm at is the second highest rated course in the world. So I do a lot of disc golfing.
Yeah, it'd be fun with that stuff there. Like it sucks now I don't get to go out and do it because I work nights in my new job that I got a few months ago. So basically all my regular like team kind of get together activity stuff is basically shot unless I want to take the day off and burn some PTO to go do it. So it's like, I can't do that. I can't go out. I can't play softball this summer because of it.
I've been in that same boat for 4 years because I broke my ankle twice in the last 4 years, and it basically kept me from doing anything like that. Yeah. So and both times on the disc golf course, by the way.
Ooh.
Like the second time. Yeah, the second time I went out that I broke it, I was probably trying to push it too soon, and that's what did that. So
they got like a step off on like I know the free ones are here, like the spot to throw from are like cement slabs, and they're not like level with everything, so like you got to step off. So if you really get a good throw where you're kind of out of control, I could see stepping off and breaking ankles and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, this one time I just my disc went into the bushes, and as I was going through the bushes, I stepped on a rotten log and rolled my ankle.
Oh, yes,
right.
Oh,
and the second time it was just while I was walking as well. I just happened to step in a little hole, and that was all there was to it. So Neil's back.
So Red forgot to mention that he was a fucking Olympian. Like you fucking throw shot put and do triple jump? Like what? How did I never learn
so that wasn't my main sport. So in high school, I was a 4-sport athlete. We had everything split out here. We did summer baseball at least till I was a junior. My senior year was spring ball, so I had to choose between that and track and field. But largely the thing is when I came in as a freshman in the off season, if you didn't want to do like the full football workouts and stuff like that for the off-season stuff. Like you had the calendar or whatever there. I still did them, but there's days I could just basically skip and do that because I was in other sports. But so it's like, oh well, so I got to find something for the spring. Otherwise, I got to be in the gym all this other time. If I don't make 80%, I don't get what we call a Legion Award at the time. So you don't get the they changed it a bit after the first couple of years they did it. Basically where it was more like a career thing. So if you did everything right in the off season, all this other stuff in there, you'd get a 4-star Legion by the time you graduated, right? Kind of thing. Award for football. So it's basically, all right, I got to find something for the spring. So I don't have to be in the weight room all the time, doing all that other stuff. Now I still went into the weight room because I'm crazy about that, but yeah, I was running track.
Who knew that Red was just this jacked Olympian behind that animatronic puppet?
I've talked about this before. I played college football. Like I've done this on stream.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
He didn't say he was throwing a shot.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wasn't very good at it. Like disc I was better at. And had I gone out my senior year, I probably, regionals and stuff like that, maybe state. But largely it was just like a different kind of workout activity kind of thing for it. Like I ran when we ran, like, when you do track, you might have limited to 6 spots at a meet, and then other meets you'll have open where you can run as many people as you want in certain events. So like I'd sprint in the open stuff, but I wasn't wasn't fast enough because I'm a lineman to run like the 100 yards and stuff like that, 200 and stuff, and like the close stuff. But I did that, and then I competed like regionals and triple jump. So,
buddy of mine from high school went to the Olympics for triple jump. He jumped for French Guiana.
Ooh, that's when did he go? Was it
2016?
2016. All right, that's cool. Is he going in 2020 or?
I don't know. I gotta hit up his.
Or 2020. What did I say? 20. The next
2021.
one. 2021. Yeah, the pandemic. It got pushed back.
I just wanted to. I'm back in the stream here, and just was kind of like, how did we go from nihilism to Olympics?
Only here.
Disc golf and stuff like that, and so we were.
Yeah. My fault.
So I was asking if I disc golfed, and I said, yeah, I disc golfed. I don't do like the regular courses like Ollie does, but do it with my brothers who played all the time and beat them. And I just mentioned that I threw disc in high school, and that's probably why. And then it just devolved into athletics and stuff like that.
Devolved. Well, just change topic. We'll put it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mean in the mean way. Just like it goes all sorts of different ways. Like I said, my mind goes so many different directions.
Mine does too.
Yeah. So if I start on, I find out I start on the point. And this is too bad he's not here tonight. But Duke, when we do a lot of like offline calls and stuff here, just hanging out with Duke's the coolest guy there.
Bonanza.
Right? Good dude. Yep, Duke Bonanza. Right. And
He's
so
alive.
Yeah, he's
Just
last I talked, he's really putting in a lot of hours at his new job. Kind of changed things around, so he's been super busy with that. But yeah, and it's we'll talk for like 3 hours on something because I'll start on a point, and he'll start asking questions, and all of a sudden I'm 9 million miles down on this one path when I only need to go just a little bit to continue our conversation. We do that. Yeah, we do that in our offline calls all the time. So they end up being like 3-hour conversations and stuff there when we do it. So
I haven't spoken to Duke in a while.
Tell him to get his ass in here next time you talk to him. We need to come see his face. Give him some
and with my work schedule and stuff like that, I can only do these Saturday ones. And last week I missed because I had to work Saturday night. Ugh.
Yeah, that sucks.
SATURDAY.
Nice. Yeah. Bay City Rollers, right?
Yep.
That's actually the inspiration to the Hey Ho Let's Go and Blitzkrieg Bop. Was that song?
Yep. That's right.
Which is, I always laugh at kind of the super seriousness of people in like the punk scene and stuff. Now, granted, I was that asshole about my music scene when I was in high school, but I grew out of it. Yes, I grew out of it because now I'm kind of listening to all that stuff. But yeah,
I think that's because your musical tastes evolve over time.
It's a rite of passage. You find your genre, and then you become the super fan of that genre.
Yeah, and I was the only fan. I was the only fan of that genre in my high
school.
So some might say I did it to stand out a little more, maybe. But I don't know why I would want to do that because I was bullied pretty relentlessly growing up until high school. You know, once you put all the muscle on and stuff there, and they don't want to try picking on you anymore because they'll end up in the locker.
Oh, I know that story.
But
same way.
You know, I was bullied quite a bit here, and so I don't know if I just found that outsider mentality with being the only one that was big in this. And it's not like it was like anything crazy. Like I didn't take up any of the what would have been I don't know, more hipstery kind of dress or anything like that. I didn't do any of that there, but like that garage post-punk stuff in the 2000s. So the Strokes, the White Stripes, the Hives, all that stuff. So one of my favorite bands, like I always said 1A with my 1B being Styx, but the 1A from that scene was the Mooney Suzuki. Then I'll pimp them all day long. They kind of kicked that scene off in New York, and then they didn't get it until after it blew up, and then kind of forgotten about it, which is kind of sucks because, you know, I won't get to see them play anymore. I missed that opportunity a few years ago. All of a sudden I saw something pop up on my things, like, it was too close to the event. They were doing a reunion show in New York City for like the Mercury Lounge. I think it was like the 25th anniversary or whatever that Mercury Lounge was celebrating. I'm like, shit, I don't have, you know, $700 to make this trip happen last minute. I'm like, damn it. If I knew back in January, I could put some money aside and had it. I was like, and I missed it. I missed the reunion. So, but I did get to see him once live. It was a little bar in Minneapolis. I was only 18, so my mom had to take me. She didn't like the, you know, that music wasn't really her scene kind of thing or what she liked. She really likes like the 70s stuff and like the 60s rock. She could give her, you know, leave it or whatever. But
let me just say this so that when my kids in the future come back and look at this, I'm not going to the Nick Jonas reunion show. You can kiss my ass. Take your mother. I'm not going to a shitty concert. I will not do for you what Red's mom did for him. I won't do it. You're on your own.
See, the benefit there is that they'll do it at like a theater or something like that, where you can be, you know, you can go in under 18 and stuff like that. Whereas I had to do it at a bar. But the funny story about that, I was so psyched to see him, right? And I haven't seen a show in a bar before, right? It just turned 18 like the week before or whatever. So I was in there and stuff, and it wasn't a very big crowd either. It was pretty small for what it was, but it was on Little Steven Van Zant's. What was the name of that concert series? But a concert series where we took them around, these garage bands around in there. So we went to see that, and she comes up.
About the Warp Tour?
No, not Warp Tour. No. It was Little Steven Van Zant's Underground Garage is his XM show. I don't remember what they called the tour though. They had all these different bands go on there. But anyways, I'm at this show. Not a lot of people there. The gal's like, "Oh, you play this game here? No, you want a Rolling Rock beer?" It's like, "Well, I'm 18. I can't drink." And it's just before the Mooney Suzuki are set to come on here, so I'm sitting, you know, right smack dab right in front of the stage, so I can be the super fan that I am. And so like, "Oh, here, do you want VIP tickets to go upstairs?" Right? I was like, "Why the hell would I want to go upstairs? I'm right here in front of the stage here." Right? They're just about to come on. And then my mom being mean to me, like I say this jokingly, but she didn't step in and say, "Hey, they're offering you like VIP tickets. That's where the band is upstairs." It's like, why would I want to go upstairs? And I turned them down. So the one show I got to see from, you know, one of my favorite bands are there, I had a chance to meet them, and I turned them down because I was 18, stupid, and I didn't understand that that's what they were offering me because I couldn't have a beer. I was like, "Oh," and my mom laughed. My mom was laughing at me afterwards, like, you could have spoken up about it.
Tell me I'm dumb. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'll let it slide this
but
way.
I was like, I was just in that super psyched, like, oh my god, I see, band live. Like, so I'd been to concerts and stuff before. Like, I grew up in town that's got an amphitheater that had all like Warped Tour and Ozfest and all that stuff come through when I was a kid. And so I was working those concerts, 10, 11, 12 into high school and stuff like that. Because the guy that owned the concert grounds also owned like the hockey rink and kind of managed the local hockey association. And so basically, if you went there, you got discounts off your fees to play hockey. So I did all those concerts, all sorts of shit, bands on Warped Tour, on Ozfest, on all sort, and just individual tour stuff. So I saw it there. So I've been to the bands here, but I'm like, I've never fronted the stage or down in the mosh pit as a little kid.
That was me.
Yeah, too young for that. I probably would have been done all right because I'm a big guy. Even as a little kid. Yeah, I would have done just fine. But it's like I didn't care for a lot of the music anyways in the first place up there.
Why were you there?
I saw it. Well, like it was new metal and stuff in the late '90s, like on like the Ozfest stuff there, and it's like I'm not super big. It was never really super big into a lot of new metal.
Guys, this is Disturbed.
Yeah. But so saw stuff like Slipknot or whatever and stuff there was the headline the one year, and it's like I was never a big fan of them.
I like them. I thought that's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I didn't like it at the time, right? So this is my music. I got my click. Fuck you. And now, but that was before I got into my the garage rock post punk revival stuff. So I was into like the classic rock stuff, right? As the kid that worshipped like the 60s and 70s and 80s bands and stuff like that in the late 90s, 2000, early 2000s, just before that. The Strokes and stuff broke. That was where I was at. So that was my music. And so listening to like the new metal and the screaming and stuff there was never something I was into at the time. I mean, I'm fine with it now. And with some of those, I look back, I'm like, yeah, these are all right. And I'll listen to them. But, then it's like, oh, these guys fucking suck. All that stuff.
I think Ray's having some connectivity issues. Get him out of here.
And I kind of want to know, like, what kind of, like, what did you think of the grunge era? What did you think of the 80s metal scene? What did you think of the late 70s hard rock movement, like Sabbath and Rainbow and stuff like that?
I like that. So the classic rock, a lot of that. The grunge scene was kind of there because it wasn't on the classic rock stations yet, like it is now.
Right.
And so I missed kind of some of that. It's really weird. My music thing, because I was born in '88. So I missed, I was 6 when Kurt Cobain died. So grunge really meant nothing to me as a 6-year-old.
Right.
Finding music. And then so when you had like the grunge stuff with the new metal stuff in the late 90s, when I'm starting to get into music and like I don't listen to that station. So I'd pass the grunge stuff off. Just because of that. I think I was also more like a pop kid too for there, just because I had older cousins that were into like the different pop stuff that were on there and the mainstream top 40 stuff at the time. So I got into like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and stuff with that and like all that and the pop stuff there for a little bit before I turned my attention to the classic rock stuff when I really started getting into music. But so I had that stuff there. And it's a lot of the stuff I kind of remember from like osmosis when I go through my Spotify and looking for some new stuff or get new suggestions for 90s stuff or whatever there. And like, I remember this. How the fuck do I remember this? I wasn't listening to this.
Like, but somebody you knew may have been.
Yeah, so it was in the background. Like,
background.
All the stuff there. But it's like all this, like even like I flip through, like if you have like Sirius XM, you get like the 2K pop and stuff there. And they're playing this like, I know this one. I know this one. I know this one. I wasn't fucking listening to Top 40 at all. I wasn't doing anything there. The only way I would have probably heard it all was at like the school dances. The school dances. But it's like, I remember this, TV, this. Like, and I wasn't like a super indie kid or anything there, but like I like as music YouTubers, Todd in the Shadows, doing his thing. And so one of his train records was the Liz Phair when she sold out, went pop. That album, and he's playing bits of that song. I was like, I remember this too. How the fuck do that? Like, it was just like everywhere. It's like I remember all this stuff, but it's like I wasn't actively listening to it. I actively shunned all this stuff. But yeah, so it's really weird. Like I remember.
Well, then if you actively shunned it, it means you'd heard it and you didn't like it, so you shunned it.
Well, just basically, like, I wouldn't listen to anything but my 2 hour before getting like XM and all that stuff. He did the 2 hour show on the classic rock station on Sunday nights from I think midnight to 2 a.m. So my parents didn't like that, getting about 4 hours of sleep for Monday school, but I'd sit in my bed and listen to the Underground Garage every Sunday night. And that's what I was listening through high school, was all that stuff. And I found a whole bunch of my bands there, and then basically just like expanded from there. Like, go through like a Pandora thing and you build it together and then start spitting out all these other ones. And that's how I built my music taste after like the classic rock stuff.
What the fuck? My internet provider has scammed me.
What? Why?
Why are they saying that it's $232 a month? Oh, we're gonna have a conversation.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Did you go over your limit, or?
Man, fuck them and their fucking limit. Turn the shit off if I run out.
That's my belief too. Yes, I'm really bad about it.
Yo, yeah, because uploading episodes and editing shit and sending shit back and forth to people.
Yes, you burn that shit like crazy. Like when I was streaming regularly, it's like, oh, I'm getting to the end of the month. I'm gonna get turned off on this. I blew through all my stuff now.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I got that fiber up unlimited.
Yeah,
sorry. Like,
well, like
fiber
even
up
we
unlimited.
You mean like my
unlimited, but if
phone
you
where
had
I only
somebody-
get 50 gigs or whatever?
Yeah,
they're limited the internet stuff here in the U.S. Yeah,
because I have
you have unlimited, if you use up too much, they'll throttle and turn you off.
Yeah, they capped me at about like 1.3 terabytes. Then they start looking at me like, "Yo, you're at 90% of your data usage." I'm like,
yes,
"Yo,
I get those text
ass.
messages. It's like a week before the end of the month, and you've reached your limit. I'm like, fuck, can't stream this weekend.
You know what sucks is when I got your TV on 4K and it's YouTube TV. You know how much that burns through.
Oh yes, it is crazy how much that burns through.
The Olympics are 4K through YouTube TV this year, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch that particular channel because there's a specific channel that broadcasts it through at 4K. But I'm like, man, I really want to watch like this in like on my 75-inch TV in crystal clear. But
so I went 97 gigs over, and they charged me $20 for it.
That ain't too bad.
I mean,
we get a terabyte and a half, and then for every terabyte past that, we get charged $15.
I mean, I'm still gonna pay them like 5 days late anyway, so. Because fuck them, they don't report to the credit bureau, and their shit goes out all the time. So they get to. If I ever have any interruptions in my service, that's 1 day.
Yep. Oh, I call them all the time and be like, "Hey, I work from home and I can't have this, and I was out for 2 hours. I get today free." And normally they're like, "Okay," because the customer service person doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Neil and Swede did not answer my round to horn question. Did
How
you
dare
know
they?
that?
What's that all about?
I
didn't even know you'd done one.
What is your
I wasn't
favorite
even
Simon? Yeah, what is your favorite Simon Pegg movie?
That's easy. For the greater good.
Yes, that's what I said.
Hot Fuzz. There you go. Yeah. Do you not know Simon Pegg?
I know who Simon Pegg is.
Okay.
He's trying to figure out which Star Trek he wants to mention.
No, I wouldn't. Those aren't Simon Pegg movies.
No.
Or
He's in
he
them.
just wants to head down to the Winchester and have a pint. And that's where it's all to blow over.
Yeah, that's the one.
Shaun of the Dead. That's the one I picked too.
Shaun of the Dead. Yeah. It's the best one, in my opinion, that he's done. Like that he's
It's
in
between that and Hot Fuzz.
Yeah,
those
Hot
two.
Fuzz was.
Well,
like
like I
Hot
said
Fuzz a lot.
when I answered it, it all depends on how much you like those certain genres that they're satirizing in there.
Yeah.
Like Shaun of the Dead, I like fine enough, but I don't watch a ton of zombie movies, so I miss a lot of the references and stuff. Whereas like the buddy cop action stuff and Hot Fuzz, I watched all that because my dad really liked that stuff. So like Lethal Weapon and all that other stuff. So I get all the references to that, and that's why I like Hot Fuzz better than Shaun of the Dead. But
I can't watch what happens to Timothy Dalton at the end. That's too.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yes.
Mikey has not seen these movies yet.
No, he hasn't, which is
It's really
crazy how
painful
you
to see
missed those.
Rassilon get impaled through the face. Now,
Also,
if you
like-
don't know what I'm talking
was
about there, then you're really lost.
Yeah.
Also, like the one Paul with the alien.
Yes,
Yeah, that
I
was
like
funny.
Paul. Yep.
That was good.
Like I said, I've seen just about everything Seth Rogen's ever done, movie-wise.
Yeah.
I think there's the only one I haven't seen yet because it hasn't been on streaming and I missed it in theaters is that rom-com he did where he's like the presidential candidate or whatever, and he's a long-lost friend who comes on as like her speechwriter and they fall in love, that kind of thing. That's, I think, the only one I haven't seen.
I haven't
Oh
seen
yeah, I
that.
kind of actually wanted to see that one.
I did too, but I missed when it came out, and it's not on any of the streaming services I have.
Really?
So I haven't
Which
been
one's
able
it
to watch.
on?
I don't know. I don't think it's on any, or it hasn't been, or like they do sometimes. It comes on for a little while and it goes off after their contract runs out. So I must have just missed it. But yeah,
I support this.
support what?
It's
This year.
Yes.
Your mom. Your mom says that Simon Pegg should pay Mikey's internet bill. Are we keeping you up?
Yeah. Oh, so
There's-
speaking of movies, I saw a really good one tonight with the wife. The 12th.
What's that now? 12th man.
It is a Norwegian movie about a guy's unlikely escape through Nazi-occupied Norway into Sweden after their sabotage mission goes awry. And this guy basically lived through things that you should never, ever, ever live through, like an avalanche, swimming through a fjord channel in the dead of winter, gangrene, and all these other things that he lived through.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
But it was actually pretty good.
I don't ever want to have to experience gangrene, that's for sure.
Ooh,
No.
not today.
Or frostbite
So-
to the point where you got to sever limbs and shit. No thanks.
So if you were not allowed to pick a Star Wars or Star Trek movie, what's your favorite space sci-fi movie?
Ooh.
Series or one-off or
No, movie.
Movie.
Straight up movie.
oh,
And I'll go first if you'd like. I would have to go with Valerian and the
In the City of a Thousand.
the City of a
Planets.
Thousand Planets.
Yeah,
haven't seen it.
Cara Delevingne is pretty hot in that one.
It was a great movie. All around.
I think
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot
There
of them. Trying to think.
Repeat the
I'm
question.
picking Dino De Laurentiis's Dune.
Yeah.
Actually, without seeing it, I'm picking Denis Villeneuve's Dune.
Yeah.
What's the
Upcoming
question?
game? Okay. Favorite space sci-fi movie, but you're not allowed to pick Star Trek or Star Wars.
Event Horizon.
Well, that's not bad.
I like that one a lot. Ooh, or Alien.
If they,
Alien, yeah.
if the
Alien,
writers of
aliens are
Event
good.
Horizon were to come out and admit that it's a prequel to Warhammer 40K,
Liner on the block.
Well, there's a few for me. It's tough to call. Like E.T. was pretty good.
I was scared of E.T. I was too little for that movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
when they
God,
came
that
in with the hoods and the like the quarantine suits. and
Yes,
everything,
that was
my
terrifying
parents said
as a
I was
kid.
so scared.
Yeah.
I was scared of that movie for a long time. I was like, ah!
Yeah. It,
Also, Enemy Mine.
I almost
Oh,
said
great
that.
movie.
I almost
Great
said that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go. I think with
Star Wars.
no. We're not allowed to pick Star Wars for crying out loud. Or Star Trek. All right.
Trek Wars.
There's so many good ones. Like fucking like Starship Troopers. When that came out, it blew me away. Just the effect.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so many. Like The Last Starfighter. Like imagine that being a video
Great
game
movie.
thing, right? It's like there's fun ones, there's
The
serious
Fifth
ones.
Element is
I'm
always
glad
fun.
the remake of that one
Fifth
got
Element.
canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Blade
Fifth
Runner.
Element. Fifth
Blade
Element.
Runner,
is
yeah.
number one.
Both of them are good.
Yeah.
I would
I
take
wouldn't call
any
Blade
number
Runner a
of-
space movie though. It was more of a
No.
dystopian.
Well,
future.
I mean, it's a sci-fi
Yeah.
one.
Sci-fi.
It
yeah.
is sci-fi. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say probably one that made the biggest impact. Ah, geez, I don't know. Fuck, 'cause so many did.
A fun one that I haven't seen in a long time. It's an animated one, but the Titan AE.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
that
great,
was
great,
one. That was
great
one.
fucking
Yeah.
movie.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
Speaking of new ones that are coming out, did anybody else see the previews for the Apple series for Foundation?
I haven't.
Yeah,
I don't.
Apple has thrown several tens of millions to do Foundation.
Can we pick animated movies too?
I just mentioned
Yes.
Titan AE is animated.
Yeah, fair enough. Then I'm gonna have to say heavy metal
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I fucking love that movie.
It was a great movie.
I don't think I've seen the original Heavy
Psychedelic
Metal.
too.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
it's
yeah?
so good.
I've seen the 2000.
5 stories. Yeah, that
Which
one was
one?
okay. It was
Well,
its
not-
own story though.
Yeah.
See, the original has a theme where it starts with this glowing ball and it takes you through these different stories of its existence, we'll say. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot like the Death Sex. Was it Death, Sex, and Robots or whatever? That's on Netflix.
yeah, which is all right. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some
Some
better
episodes were
stories
good,
than
yeah.
others.
But I mean, that was basically the heavy metal stuff, right?
Well, yeah, it's just a different.
It was supposed to. They just changed the name to it. But
Well, heavy metal was based on the magazine Heavy Metal.
yeah, the
and
magazine.
all
Yeah.
the
No, that's what I was talking about.
different
Yeah.
artists. The different
Yeah.
artists all got to do their own animation for the movie. So, and they've even added now the hand drawn middle section between one scene to the other, which if you see it and then you see it with the added footage, it makes sense. But
Now I gotta look up a list of movies.
Why have you not picked one yet, Mikey?
There's still more. Like, I mean, you could even go to something like, I know it's a superhero movie, but
Like
it's
you
still
said,
sci-fi. You can go to the Guardians of Galaxy ones, or
that's in space though, so it counts.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would. Yeah.
Yeah, they're making a Nova movie, aren't they? There's plans
I don't
for
know.
it, I believe.
With
Yeah.
Alan Alda?
No, the
What?
superhero Nova.
The Nova Corps. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
on
Nova
Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't seen any confirmation on the movie for that.
I thought that was funny. Fuck all of you.
What about Wall-E?
Oh, that was good. I fell
Wally
asleep
was a
though.
cutesy movie.
Ooh, Total Recall.
That's a good one.
Total
Yeah.
Recall.
The Thing,
Which
You ready?
one though, Mikey? Which one?
John Carpenter's Thing.
The Arnie one. What are you talking about?
Terminator, for fuck's sakes.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
they made a Total Recall remake
Yeah.
Yeah.
back
Yeah,
here.
I didn't-
They were supposed
I
to be closer to the original book than what the Arnold Schwarzenegger one was.
Yes.
Ooh, Chronicles of Riddick.
I never read the book.
Pitch
Yeah,
Black.
the Riddick series. Which one?
Yeah.
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The Transformers movie.
Oh
There
yeah.
you go.
That
Yeah.
was a great one.
Which one?
The only
Well,
good
there
one
was
is the
only
first
one.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
The
rest.
first one was
Well, I've heard Bumblebee was really good, and
Yeah.
now it's going to serve
Well,
as kind of like a soft reboot for it. I didn't see it though because
I like
I
Bubba.
gave
there
up on
were-
the Transformers films after the second one.
There was an animated Transformers movie back in the 80s that was pretty good.
That's the one I'm referring to.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The original animated Transformers movies that I went to the theater to see at
Yeah.
like 23.
Rodimus Prime, right? That's the one
Yeah,
with Rodimus
that's the one.
Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even had a Rodimus Prime too. I had the thing.
Basically, like the whole new line of toys, and they let them kill off all the original ones. I watched them like the what Netflix documentary was that? Was it the Toys That Made Us?
Yes.
Something on there where they were talking about them, and it was basically like, yeah, they let us do basically they had a whole new toy line, so we had to replace them, so they let us kill them all. And I'm like, ooh, in a kids cartoon, you're gonna kill all the main characters.
What's up, Mikey?
Nobody has mentioned Dances with Wolves in Space.
I hate
What?
you.
What?
Avatar.
Spaceballs.
Avatar, okay. Avatar,
That's what
no.
that's what he's talking about.
I don't know if Avatar would crack my top 50.
No.
Avatar is basically the same script as Dances with Wolves.
What about Akira or Ghost in the Shell?
Neither one of those really space, though, are they?
It's sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Yeah,
It is sci-fi, yeah.
They are. Akira is awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
I watch that. I watch that at least once a year,
Yeah, me too.
and I'm still blown away at how awesome it was. Like, when did that come out? Like 80 something?
Yeah,
Something like that, yeah. It's
85
one of the
or
early
6?
ones. It's one of the early ones to make it over here.
85.
What about the
Coins.
Yeah.
Coins,
88.
88. 88.
I win. Only just.
The Martian was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep,
Mark Wahlberg?
yep.
I didn't see that.
I don't know if my
No.
adventures in
No,
space
it's
would be
not
all that
David-
fun,
not
tons of
Mark
mice.
Wahlberg.
Apollo 13, there's some fictional elements to it.
Yeah,
What's the space one? That's a good. I watched that. It was
good
fun. My dad
It's just
loved
a
that
real-
show.
It's not sci-fi though. It's yeah. There's a little bit of fiction in there, but it's not
it's
sci-fi.
sci without the phi. It's just sci.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you said space or sci-fi, so
Yeah, use that sort of
RoboCop.
terminology. That's a good one.
RoboCop. Yeah,
I think me and my buddy went back
I'll
and
buy
watched that like that execution scene in the beginning, and the dude's shotguns shot 47 shots in a row. Like, it's just the most 80s thing ever, where they just lit Buddy up for 2.5 minutes without reloading or anything. It just had
Yeah.
bottomless clips on these shotguns that only hold 8 shells apiece.
Dragon
I'll
Ball Z
buy
is
that
sci-fi
for
sort of.
$1.
I mean they do travel to other planets.
Yes, they do.
Accurate.
I would classify Dragon Ball Z as a sci-fi anime.
Yeah.
Yep.
A
They
good
went,
lesser known movie that y'all should would probably enjoy is a movie called Primer.
Is that the movie you have to watch before you watch the rest of them?
It's about time travel.
We need a badoom sound effect.
Yeah. Mikey's got to get his soundboard all set up to chime in.
I gotta buy one of those roadcasters.
Ah, there you go.
Should be able to do it with the Stream Deck.
Well, it's all of that and everything that I need for everything.
All right.
It's amazing. It's
It's a magical,
$600.
wonderful machine.
Yeah, it's the Wonder Box, and I'm gonna get one as soon as I get back from my cruise.
You'll even make you a sandwich.
We're going on a cruise.
I'm going in September.
Oh, where?
Oh, where? South Caribbean.
Hmm.
So leaving out of San Juan and going to like Barbados, Virgin Islands, St. Lucia, Antigua, and there's one more I'm forgetting. I think it's like 6 islands. So maybe 2 I'm forgetting. But I can't wait.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, just make sure you don't tell Jenna where you're going, eh?
Yeah, she's not watching. And I know Tons of Mice is not going to tell her.
You hope.
AKA, this just got clipped on Twitch. And the link
Oh, Ollie, you got to do something about your avatar.
What?
The keep calm garbage. Get rid of that. Put something funnier in there.
keep
It's like
calm,
the-
play
Like
disc
disc
golf.
golf?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
What's wrong with that? I'm the disc golf guy.
I know you are, but it's the keep calm thing that pisses me off because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
He said, "Be pissed off.
Yeah, what are we in the
How's
Blitz?
that? How's that then?
That's better.
Be angry and whip the disc.
Yeah, that's right.
Whip.
See,
the
even
disc.
Tons of Mice says Primer's a good movie.
I'll have to check it out. I haven't.
Of course, he would say that
I haven't seen it.
because it's
about
probably,
Aaron,
I gotta find the
and-
time to sit and watch subs. Like, have you ever tried watching any of the foreign films on Netflix with the dubs?
Hmm.
They're god awful.
Yep.
I was watching. What's the one about Herman the German? What is it, Barbarian?
Herman the German.
Haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's. You're not familiar with Herman the German?
No, what is that?
No, I don't know that.
Oh, it's a historical figure. I forget which German tribe he was a part of, but he was taken in by the Romans and raised as this governor's son, him and his brother. And then eventually, when his adopted father got control over this part of German territory or whatever, he betrayed him and joined up with the Germans. You know,
So,
his family and stuff defended there. It's on Netflix. I think it's called Barbarian or something like to that effect.
Sounds like the Moses story.
I mean, kind of, but I mean, it's like a historical event or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the Moses one wasn't. So
Well, that's kind of how Attila the Hun was brought up too.
No, yeah, I'm not as familiar with Attila before with his upbringing. I mean, that's a lot of things though with the later Roman Empire. There's all the tribes that bring it in, they turn around and they fight back against them. It kind of goes that way when you're trying to build an empire like that.
Yeah. And then where the armies are loyal to the generals, not to the state.
Yep.
Well, on that bombshell, I'm gonna have to love and leave you guys. I gotta work in the morning. I got an early day tomorrow. I can't stay and hang out until 4 a.m.
You're working on a Sunday? That sucks, dude.
I know
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
right.
Sabbath, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I
brother-
totally believe in that stuff. That's why I need the day off. Whatever I gotta say to get out of working.
yeah, don't do that.
I'll say anything to stay home.
Put
Right,
some, if they take your temperature at work, then you put some of the icy hot on your forehead and your temples, and it'll come up about 100 degrees.
Oh, then I gotta stay home.
Yep.
There you go. Life hack, folks.
There you- Easy day off.
Exactly. Well, I got to get out of here anyways myself too, so we might as well just bring this to a close because I got a couple things I still got to do, finish my laundry and get some shit ready to take to my mom tomorrow because I'm going to go see her. So
Oh, cool.
All right.
yeah, and I still got a couple episodes of Star Trek I want to watch. So
Yeah.
speaking,
Yeah, I
of Star
guess it's time to call it a night for me too. 10 to 1 in the
Yeah.
morning.
I gotta go celebrate the Bucks victory.
Trek. All right, very good.
Yeah.
Oh, they up 3-2 now?
Yep. Bucks and 6, baby.
I'm mad because Kyle Korver was cut from them last year.
Yeah, this wasn't a lead in to a new segue to talk about. So, anyways, like the little banner down there says, we'll look for Randolph and myself with our upcoming show some point in the future called True North Talk. If you want to learn more, go to www.truenorthtalk.ca, and there's all sorts of info there for you. And also, one of the new co-hosts of the revamped, relaunched Nonprofits, one of the ACA products, that airs at 3 p.m. Central on the Sundays between the Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience. And lots of great hosts on that show. And the last Saturday of every month, I get together with Andy from Laughing at Disbelief and Seamus from the Free Thought Prophets shows, and we get together. It's a show called Atheist Drinking Out Loud, where we have a guest with us, and then we kind of pick topics and make fun of people while we're drinking. It's a lot of fun. That's about it. And thanks to my amazing patrons. You guys really are the reason why I'm able to do this. Well, that and I have no life otherwise. But anywho, thanks to everyone in the chat. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Thanks to Javier again for being my guest. Turns out he's not quite as bad guy as we think he is, but you can't. Nobody's going to agree with everything with everyone, anyways. So don't expect it. All right, guys. Until next time. I want to thank you guys for jumping in here with me.
It was fun.
Yeah,
You are
y'all.
bad guy, but you are not bad guy.
No, not the bad guy.
Not the bad guy. All right, then. Until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of these shows, like the late, great Carl Sagan once said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And we'll see you guys next time.